Very nice.
Thank you very much, Christian. I hope you all see my screen. Well, good morning, good afternoon.
Sorry, it's not in presentation mode.
No, it's not.
If you want to enlarge it.
Yeah. Here we are.
Perfect. Perfect.
Thank you very much, Joanna. So welcome everyone, and good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. We are here to kick off the second year of the IGCP726 project, GeoFood for Sustainable Development in UNESCO Global Geopark. Thank you again for your time, and thanks for being here and for participating in the project. Yes, I will try to be brief and a little bit informative to the one of you that, especially to the one of you that are new. So actually, we got financed by the International Geoscience Program. As you know, this program is one to facilitate the international scientific cooperation in geosciences. They especially promote projects with special emphasis on benefit to society, capacity building, and no exchange of knowledge between scientists. And 2 years ago, we got awarded as the best project into the field of sustainability, which was a kind of innovative thematic that they decided to introduce. So here we are. So basically, we delivered the first year, and just briefly to tell you, the evaluation was rather cool. We got 22.15 points on the total 24 that were available. You will find all the information that you need in the link that I copy here. And of course, the presentation will also be available to all of you. We will share the Google Drive link with the one of you that don't have it. And there you find all the project information. Basically, we want to carry out research to link geoheritage, geodiversity, ecosystem services, food production, and try to create some strategies and some tool to implement the GeoFood brand and to develop geoproducts. We are working on different project objectives, which are the 6 I just listed here. They are divided by 5 years. We hope to be financed for 3 years more. In the first year, we gathering the data, we mapping the resources, and we try to develop, and we developed actually a baseline. But now we are working on the developing methodology for assessment, implementation, asking all of you best practices, and in order to create a toolkit for implementing GeoFood in different territories. We also want to disseminate the result in the scientific community. We want to link scientists in geosciences together to work closely around the world. The partnership, it actually increased. We were 43, if I'm not wrong. And this year we are 56 individual members, individual scientists that like to contribute to the project development. As you can see, we have also, of course, aspiring geoparks that are likely to join the project with us. And we have 2 geological surveys, one in Northern Ireland and one in Faroes. We are involving scientists from independent scientists, which are connected with geopark development in Egypt and Indonesia in particular. You see, we have 8 universities and the research institute. It's quite a big project that involved 28 countries, and I'm rather proud of it. And I have to thank all of you for your cooperation and participation. The objective number 1 that was coordinated by Rukwa, by Alexandra Paz, she's here online, and we need to thank her a lot for her job, has been accomplished. We gathering data and mapping the resources and create a project baseline. We detected some main headline, as you can see, some main thematic, which are linked to the development of local food and local geoproducts. And we have been detected definition, indicators, and some kind of preliminary bibliography for each of them. Actually, the research baseline is available, and you are absolutely invited to use it for your local development and your local engagement of local communities and the interpretation of the local heritage. Of course, now I let the word to my colleague Christian from HATEG UNESCO Global Geopark that will introduce you the other main outcome of the first year.
Hello, everyone. It was a pleasure for my team to make the board game, to create this useful and fun tool. The GeoFood board game is a new type of game, which leads you to understand the concepts behind GeoFood in a playful way. It's now uploaded on the website, so anyone, anywhere can download and play the game. So it's easy for anyone to use it, and I encourage you to do that. And if you use it, please send us feedback. We want to improve the game, so maybe we can add things, we can change things as it's useful for us to play it and to come up with better and better versions. Again, if you want to change something to adapt the game for your territories, that can also be possible. So you can have the map of the game, the map of your geopark, or you can adapt any part, any piece of the game to your particular situations. So if you want to personalize the game, contact us, tell us what you need, and we will change the graphics, the words, we can translate everything. So just use it, and this should be improved and used and translated in order to be useful for everyone. Okay, now we are talking about the future, the present and the future. We are starting year 2, a bit late. So for year 2, we have to come up with the methodologies. It's the core part of the project. The methodologies are 3: assessment, implementation, and results evaluation. Maybe we can address only the first 2 in this year, because the methodologies will continue also in year 3. Also this year, we should start to work on the toolkit, and we need also some local activities. But very important for all of you and for all of us is to write articles. We need, and it's useful for everyone to have scientific articles published about what we do here in the project and what GeoFood is doing all over the world. It's helpful for all of you because you have a lot of data, and it's always good to have data when you write articles. And also it's good for the project to show the results there, because it's about scientific research. And we need also this type of results, not only things directly connected to the implementation of GeoFood. So please, if you have an idea about an article, if you need help, if you want to build a team to write something, do it, tell us. Don't wait for anything, just take charge and use this project also in your benefit. Okay, the methodologies are the systems we need, the procedures we need to simplify our work in GeoFood. All of you geoparks who are using already the brand know how difficult it is, and some of you are very advanced in already developing systems and procedures, but we also need to uniformize this, to all of us use more or less the same tools, because in this way we can compare the results, and we can be closer in our work. So the 2 aims of the methodologies are to simplify the work and to make us use the same tools in order for a better worldwide view on the brand and on the GeoFood system. So the next slide will say something about assessment methodology. It's the first thing we should start. So this is in the work plan, the first thing we will do after this meeting. We already started the assessment methodology with two things. Of course, this started when Sarah created the brand with the manifesto, the criteria. And strictly speaking, in the project, we started talking about this with 3 geoparks in the last EGN meeting in Holland. So thank you for the friends who joined us for that quick interview and also lunch. We learned a lot from your experience, and that was the starting point. So the assessment methodology is addressed to two things, two target groups: the UGG, the geopark, who implements the GeoFood brand, and the producers, the service providers, who are the ones who get the label. The first things in the assessment, this is only an example of how we will work. We will do everything, we will decide it together. This is only something I want to show you to see how we will work in the future, in the near future. So in the assessment methodology, first you need the manifesto and the criteria. On the other side of the blue line is you have things that go in the toolkit. So documents, checklists, spreadsheets, mind maps, games, anything that is useful for the methodology, and it can be the same for all of us. So the manifesto and criteria are the same for all of us. They are documents. What we could do with them is to transform the criteria from a text into a checklist that we can improve. Then the second part is the database with the baseline that we created in last year. That is a document and it's a database. We could use, anyone can use the same database to see what GeoFood is about, what are the relationships between GeoFood and different domains of science. Then we need to know the local situation. As our friends who were interviewed in the Honsdru told us, you need to know if there already is a network of producers in place in your territory. For example, you need to know if there are local labels, or if there is a need for local labels, if you have opportunities. This is a mind map, something you should see, you should be very clear before you start implementing, before you sign the contracts. So this is the assessment methodology, a very short preview of what we need to do. It's like, so the methodologies are like, if you want to do anything in your life, any action needs a methodology. So if you want to prepare an omelette, for example, just to be in the same area of food, the assessment is, what do you need if you want to make an omelette? You need eggs, you need the frying pan, you need the source of heat, and you need to be hungry. You need to know how many persons you are making the omelette for, and so on. And if anyone is allergic to anything you want to put in an omelette. Then implementation is how you do the omelette. You need to break the eggs. You need to put the content in a bowl. So you need a bowl. You need to put it in the frying pan. You need to add whatever you add in an omelette, you can add anything in the omelette, trust me. I'm picking this example because it's one of the few things I can cook. So the implementation methodologies, the core part, I called it the cultivation. Again, we are in the area of growing food and eating the food. This is addressed mainly to the Geopark team, not to the providers, to the producers. So first you need an application procedure. Where is the criteria available? Where can a possible GeoFood restaurant, where can it see what GeoFood is about? Is on the website. You already have some networks and you present the label inside the network? We saw some of the systems that are already in place and they work. But any Geopark that wants to join the brand needs to know this, the first step of implementation. What is the procedure? This is also according to the Geoparks resources. Do you have a person dedicated to GeoFood, or you have an online application? So this we need to sort out. So this is a procedure, and maybe we can have a flow chart with some elements that are obligatory and some that are optional. Then you need an evaluation, because not everyone that applies gets the label. Again, you need a procedure. You need maybe to establish who has the responsibility for the evaluation. It can be the Geopark staff, but we saw some cases where you have a board made of exactly those people who have the label. And this is very interesting because they can control the use of the label and the quality level among themselves. And it's very useful because the Geopark staff has something off their shoulders. They have a board and they will regulate themselves inside that network of the Geopark brand. Then you need a system to know anytime what are your resources, to manage your resources. For example, in our case, we have only one certified GeoFood partner, but we have about 10 that are interested. We had talks with them. Some of them we exchanged all sorts of information, and with some of them we already wrote the contracts, but they did not sign. All this work with several partners needs to be documented and needs to be somewhere placed in order for us to know all the time what is the level we reached with each of the partners. So this can be a simple chart, it can be a simple Excel where you write every time you make another step with a partner, or it can be an online platform like Milanote, or there are several types of the platforms you use for keeping your projects in line. So you all your team members can write in the same place if they had a meeting with one of the potential GeoFood partners. If you need to send something, if you also maybe want to have a plan, if you have a meeting, then you need to send an email after that with information. This type of keeping the resources organized, because we know in the Geoparks you had a lot of things to do, and sometimes you forget about a partner who maybe met you for another reason and asked about GeoFood and asked to know more. You need to put their name in the chart there, and when you have the time, you look into the chart. I promised that person I will send them some information. and then you send the information and you write there that the information was sent, something like that. Then those of you who are actively working with GeoFood know that usually the partners do not develop their story by themselves. The Geopark, yes, Karma, the Geopark is very active in developing the story with them. So it's a lot of work on behalf of the Geopark staff to help the GeoFood partners with their story. Also, some of you help them with the design of the labels and so on. So this is also part of the implementation. Even though it's not so visible, most of the work goes into this. And also most of the results, I think, are connected to the story. So we need here some techniques. We need maybe some models, some examples, some best cases with building the story. And maybe we need to define some styles, because you can have many types of how you tell the story. You can do it in a more creative way, or keep it in a classic way, just talking about the food and how it's important for the region, or have a crazy thing. I don't know, we have dinosaur pizza or volcano something, volcano cake. So maybe also define the styles, and you can use type of style according to the personality of your partner. And everything on the right of the blue line goes into the toolkit. So in the end, we should have like a narrative text about the implementation methodology with links to the things, the useful things you find in the toolkit. Already we have in the toolkit some information. We have the board game in the toolkit. That's part of the toolkit. We have the criteria. You have the manifesto translated in many languages. So the toolkit is already filling up with useful things in methodology. So in order to do this, we need to brainstorm first. So we need to repeat what we did face-to-face in Holland with only 3 geoparks. We need to do it in online, of course, with anyone who is interested in joining this brainstorming. So we could start with the assessment methodology. This is what I propose. We could have a first meeting to brainstorm in July, if you are available in July. I know that usually you have time off in July or in August. So if it's possible in July, if not, we can start in September. So the purpose of this first meeting is to also hear your thoughts about the assessment methodology. And then maybe we can split into groups working on separate parts of the assessment methodology. That would be the second step of the work plan.
Christian, sorry, just one thing. We will probably circulate a doodle with a couple of dates, and then we will pick the one that are more suitable for everyone, even for the one that are not here, if it's okay by you.
Yes, of course, but also we cannot wait for everyone. So
no, but there are
the documents will be circulated.
Yeah, but there are people that are not here, so
yeah,
like,
sure.
Yeah.
But the idea is you can also work even though you're not present in the meetings. So we will make sure that we circulate the information, and all we do is available on Google Drive, and anyone can join and have their inputs.
Okay, can we reply to some questions before we go and we move to the next section?
I have 18 things in the chat.
Yeah, they're not all questions. Anyway, the first one is from Paul in Magma Geopark. He asked, yeah, he asked if you need any minimum number of producers before you start.
Before you start, to implement GeoFood?
I don't know, Paul, are you here?
Yes, also when you start as an aspiring geopark, or when you start to work with GeoFood, do you need any? Can you start with one producer, or do you need maybe 2 or 3, or is it any minimum?
Well, Sarah could tell us that it's not in present. We don't have any limit. So I think
so you can start with one. That's just.
it's a you can do it according to your Geopark strategy. So if it's helpful for you just to start and let the others see that you started the brand like we did, so we have only one, we needed an example. And if in another case you already have some system of network of producers, you can start with several certified producers at once. So it's up to you.
Okay, then we have another question, which is about article. I already replied. We should write an article on episode because it's the one that is requested by the IGCP program at the end of at least at the end of the project, or at the end of every year of the project. But of course, you are, as Christian said, you are welcome to start to write an article for any journal you may prefer. Just please let us know if you like, then we can contribute or at least mention the project. And then about the control board, with just an example, we haven't, and no one is taking any decision. I can see that there was some reactions on that about, of course, about what to say, competition between product and the board of the producer could create some problem in some areas. So it was just an example, I suppose. So we are all deciding together. No one is imposing anything to anyone. Yes, the label design template to reply, it's already available. So each, I don't know if it's that what you mean, Sean. It's we have a manual for the use of the brand, which UNESCO Global Geopark that joined GeoFood should follow.
Yeah, just in general with that, if people have designed the labels, if people could share them, like if there was a folder, so you're not starting from the ground up, there's something to work from, there's templates there. If people have done them already, that'd be great.
You're speaking about the label for GeoFood right now?
The labels for GeoFood and the ones they've done for their produce.
Yeah, the label for GeoFood, it's...
no, I think Sean is talking about the label the producers have on their products, not the GeoFood label per se.
Okay.
So yes, I think it's good to have inspiration if they want to share their, because it's public, the label is public. So I think that's a very good idea to have a place to put examples of GeoFood labels for products, how they use the templates, how they put everything together.
Yeah, I got some good examples during these years, but of course it would be nice to make it more systematic, then we can all benefit from it. So yes, I think it's a good idea. Sorry, I
Will we create a folder in our Drive, Google Drive, with we can name it label examples? Or?
Yeah, we can do that. Okay. I just have very big doubts that people will do it spontaneously to include the label in Google Drive, but we can try, and we'll be part of the project. So it's a good idea. So I think it's a very good idea. Yes, we don't start to vote in the chat. We will, as I said, we will send a doodle to everyone, and we are 56 and we are only 21, 22 in this meeting. So need to ask the best months to everyone. And as Christian said, if you cannot, don't worry. We will circulate all the document, and you can participate if you will. Everything is available. No, bilingual templates, this is something we will find out during the project, Annie, but at the moment it's really up to each geopark what we recommend, but we will talk about GeoFood in the second part of the project. This is more general. So these technical questions are very welcome, but just in the second part, because here we are more inside the research project. So thank you for that. At the moment, I'm very glad to introduce you Dr. Michael Gleason, that is qualified in environmental science and economic, and is taking the floor, and I can stop to share my presentation. And I think he is here, so very welcome, Michael.
Hello.
Hello, I stop to share my screen, then you can share yours. Is that okay?
Perfect, thank you. I'm trying to find the thing that I'm supposed to be sharing. One moment, please. Sorry, I thought I had it up there. Just give me 2 seconds, please.
Yeah, of course.
There it is.
Perfect. Here we are.
Now.
The floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you very much. Good morning. It's morning here anyway. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for inviting me along to speak on this topic. As you guys probably, yeah, I'm not sure how much of a discussion you've had on this particular topic before, but the piece of research that I've done on behalf of the Burren and Cliffs of Moher Geopark is to look at, I suppose, methodologies and ways of measuring the economic impact of local food networks. As Sarah said, Michael Gleason is my name. I'm afraid I don't have a doctor in front of my name, and I haven't quite got that far. But I have a background in, I suppose, consultancy work, environmental science, and community development. And I suppose at the moment I'm doing a lot of work around the area of social enterprise, which should be my main area of work at the moment. And impact and impact assessment has been a huge element of the work that I've done at the moment. And as we all probably know by our involvement with food producers, that locally produced food and artisan food production has a huge impact, not alone economic impact, but social and environmental impact as well, positive impact. And what I was looking at in this project was, how do I go about measuring that? What I would do maybe is skip forward a little bit through some of the slides. These slides have been used and repurposed on a couple of different occasions, so not everything needs to be talked about here. Sarah, can I just ask what sort of time frame am I looking at?
I suppose you have 5 minutes.
Right, oh dear. Okay, we do a lot of skipping.
Minute is 5 Italian minutes, so they can become easily 8. Don't worry too much. Just,
okay.
Yeah.
So look, I suppose when we were looking at this, we were looking at the you know, the Geopark project in the Burren isn't happening in isolation. There's a lot of activities already underway, and there's a lot of excellent food producers operating within the area of the Geopark. And that's just a little overview of what is going on from the existing food activities and the food producers who are there. I've tried as best as possible to make an exhaustive list, but there might be someone missing, so I'd apologize if anyone is missing from that. But you know, there's a lot going on in the Burren before the GeoFood concept was ever introduced to the discussion, so that we to be conscious of that. The other thing that I suppose I'd be conscious of as well is that the GeoFood idea fits very well with the whole area of geographical indications. I'll show you how dated my slides are. That bottom area has actually been discontinued, I think, recently, according to some of the people I've been speaking to. So the main 2 designations there would be protected designation of origin and protected geographical indication. Ireland is doing quite poorly relative to some of the countries in Europe. I think the likes of Italy and Spain and France are leading the way in these designations. But I recently helped two butchers down in a place called Sneem in South County Kerry to get designation of PGI for Sneem black pudding. It's beautiful blood pudding that they make down there, and there's two butchers making it. So that there's a lot of grey hairs in my head from that process. That took about 3 years to get it from start to finish over the line. So it's not for the faint-hearted, I would say. So you guys know this stuff. This is your rules and terms and conditions. So I suppose just to very quickly talk about what we're talking about, you know, in the normal run of event of things, you have your local impact of food production. And in a typical scenario in the Burden in County Clare, you'd have local farmers producing what we call suckler beef, and that would be cows being calved, calves being reared with the mother and then being sold through local markets. And essentially, given the infrastructure that's in the area in County Clare, in the Burren, you have a local market in Kilfenora, but even the main market that people would bring their cattle to would be in Ennis, which would be just outside the Geopark. So essentially all of the economic benefit from that production is leaving the local area. It's the majority of the impact is leaving. So obviously the more connections and the more you can tie together the food chain from start to finish, from primary production straight through to consumption, the more economic benefit it has in the local area. So I suppose that there is just an example of how I see a local food market, you know, the kind of interconnection. Sorry, I have to move everyone's face over the way so I can see it myself. So you have local food network activity, which is made up of primary production, retail, local food service, local added value production, local distribution in some cases, and local market initiatives. And when I say local market initiatives, I know you guys in different geoparks have been involved in setting up markets and farmers markets, and, you know, doing food baskets and different festivals and, you know, different things to highlight. So that's what I mean by local market initiatives, I suppose. So what essentially one of the main components of calculating, of looking at the value of local economic, of local food, is to look at this idea of the local economic multiplier effect. And the idea behind it, it's like a cascading layer of effects, and it depends on a lot of economic factors that play into this. But effectively, the example I give there is that you have 100 euros that's spent on local food, and 40 euros of that goes to local suppliers and services, 50 euros of that is drawings and wages, and 10 euros of that goes to external suppliers. So essentially, you have a local economic multiplier from the primary business of 0.9. Then that food is moved on to another level of the local economy, and that goes into spend on other areas of the economy and other people who supply the business, people who provide services to the business and all that. So that then flows down the line again to more local spend, and so on and so forth, until you finally end up with the sort of 100 euros spent on locally produced food being fully dissipated. And in this example, this notional example that I've given, 100 euros spent on local food in, say, a business in a local geopark generates 258 euros of local economic activity, giving you a local economic multiplier coefficient of 2.58. So basically, you can take that figure of 2.58 and multiply the spending on local food by that much as an indication of local economic multiplier effect. Now, in 5 minutes or 10 or 5 Italian minutes, I don't have time to go into the whole notions and explain how you put that together. But there's quite, you know, there's a lot. You have to do quite a bit of research and do quite a bit of looking at how that what exactly you set that coefficient at. As I said, it's a bit of a full-on sort of a slide, but what I wanted to demonstrate with this slide is that when you're looking at the impact of local food activity, it's important to look beyond the economic. I know a lot of planners and people who are involved in policy development will be strictly looking at the economic impact, but increasingly we're looking at social impact, cultural impact, environmental impact as well. And this chain, this slide just kind of demonstrates on the left-hand side a range of different local food activities that we could have as part of a GeoFood project, and just suggesting what the economic, social, and environmental benefits of those activities would be. And in my opinion, the social and environmental impacts are as significant as the economic impact. So it's important not to narrow it down too much. But given that I've been asked to look at the economic impacts, that's what we'll concentrate on the next slide. I won't dwell on this one. So this is essentially the tool that I developed as a way of calculating the economic impact of locally produced food. And basically what you have there is a spreadsheet, a simple spreadsheet done up on an Excel file. And what you do is, for each layer of economic activity, you're accounting individually for each part of the impact, of the economic impact of that type of food. So you input your information there, you have each business would be added in a new column. So you have the primary producer who's selling directly. So that would be someone, say, for example, selling from a farm gate or selling through a farmer's market or something like that, who knows exactly the value of the food that they're selling. That food may also be sold by a food business operator who is not a primary producer, who is buying inputs and adding value to inputs. And again, the GeoFood concept very much concentrates on creating those connections to increase the local value. So rather than, say, for example, the Burn Smokehouse buying fish from outside of the area, the one impact of the GeoFood project is that they're now looking at smoking oysters, which are produced within the Geopark, because they're so keen to be involved in the Geo, and that's one of the great impacts of it. Then we're looking at food distribution is another layer of economic activity, where food produced in the Geopark is distributed within the Geopark, and businesses that can operate under multiple headings would be added under each relevant heading here. So, you know, you could have an organization that's doing primary production as a food business operator separately, and also does distribution, and you have to account for all those levels of activity. And then you have, say, a local food retailer who's buying locally produced food and then adding another layer of value. I know myself that I produce organic rosé veal and chicken in my farm down in Kerry, and the restaurateurs who buy that are putting a significant premium on top of that. So obviously that's another layer of value that's being added locally to the produce that comes from the Geopark already. So again, you have this kind of cascading effect of value, cascading building value. And again, you have retailers who are maybe adding value, and you could say, for example, your percentage markup. Typically there you can see in the column there, the percentage value, say in a cafe or in a retailer, would be maybe 40% on top of what I'd sell them the product to. They'd be adding another 40% when they're retailed. A cafe or a restaurant would typically be adding maybe 150% of a premium on top of the value that it would be to the primary processor or the food business operator. So that's also impact created by the food that's produced in the area. And then you have an additional layer of value and impact that would be added by those market initiatives, say like farmers markets, like you know, food festivals, things like that. And that has an additional economic value. So what you're doing effectively is you're not double accounting for different layers of value that are being created within the system. You are saying this is primary production.
Sorry.
This is what primary production is worth. This is what distribution is worth. This is what added value processing is worth in the area, etc., all the way down to when the food finally gets to the consumer and the last layer of value is added. So you can add that all up. It's all the spreadsheet is designed so it just kind of sums everything up pretty much automatically, and you end up with a total estimated value for locally produced, for local food activity. And then you have your local economic multiplier coefficient, which I mentioned earlier, which you've calculated based on what amount of value is additionally added in the local economy by this local food activity. And then you get a figure for your total impact of your local food activity. Now, I'm conscious that there are a few significant challenges involved in doing this. There's a significant risk of overestimation. I mean, I'd have a very positive bias towards locally produced food, and I would have a tendency to say it's just wonderful and it should be promoted across the board, and there's no drawbacks to this at all. And I would be in danger of maybe overestimating the value of locally produced food, and that's a distinct possibility. And that area of double accounting would be one that you would have to watch out for, because if you don't take the value of the primary produce out from the food business operator, you're basically double adding when you do that. Attribution is always a big risk in anything to do with social value or economic value accountancy. And when I say attribution, that you're taking credit for something, for a value that doesn't really belong to you. So you know that you're attributing economic activity to locally produced food that maybe isn't really belonging to that. Another significant challenge to doing this is reticence among producers, among actors in the network. I mean, you could restaurants or whoever it is that's involved, that they'd be hesitant about giving you the data that you need to do this calculation. And, you know, we've had a couple of discussions in the Burren with some of the producers, and, you know, you can see how they would be a little bit cautious about telling you exactly what volume of local produce is going through their business. And it can be a little bit of a thing that they might be overclaiming slightly, you know, that you know yourself where an item of local food gets into a restaurant and all of a sudden they're walking hand in hand through the fields with you, almost producing the stuff with you on their Facebook page. So you have to be a little bit careful about that people, you know, you can account for a real volume, and there should be some kind of threshold, I suppose, for membership. And I'm sure you have that thought about already, that you can't just buy one oyster and then all of a sudden be all branded up with GeoFood. You know, that you have to have a significant investment, ongoing investment in food. And the other thing that's a challenge is going to be the workload involved. This is a significant undertaking to gather all this data. And what I would be encouraging anyone that wants to do this, I'm happy to help, but I think you'll be looking at a couple of PhD students or something like that to gather this kind of information and this kind of data. But the reality is that if you want a figure, if you want to be able to put a figure on economic value of local food activity, after a lot of head melting discussions and thinking very hard about it and waking up in the middle of the night and writing notes and trying to think through how could you do this, this system or this toolkit this tool that I've designed is the most logical way that I could come up with of doing it. Now, I'm not to say that there wouldn't be a better way of doing it or a less convoluted way of doing it. I wish there was, but that's the way it is. So yeah, that's me.
Wow, thank you very much. That was so informative and so inspiring. So thank you so much for telling us your experience. Thank you to you and to Carol and to the wonderful job that you are doing. We have some questions, and personally, I have a question. But first, we ask the question of Emmy. Maybe Emmy, can you ask yourself the question? Please.
I think. Oh, there she is.
Annie or Amy? I was jumping in. I think Michael actually clarified, but I was asking about how to find the multiplier factors. And walking through Michael's spreadsheet, I think I got a better understanding of where the multiplier factors came from. Here in North America, we often rely on the United States Department of Agriculture for their local food economics calculators to provide the multiplier factors for us, whereas Michael's methodology actually creates the multiplier factors de novo in his spreadsheet, which is really kind of neat.
That is neat. Yes, that's good.
But I'd like to ask if let's say the benefit that the local food gives in terms of health and you know, the respect of the ecosystem services and how the ecosystem services contribute. That's a little bit my PhD in the air. So I was wondering if this ecosystem services benefit. There are many ways to calculate those, and you know better than me. I was thinking if they're being included, or if there is a thinking to include those, because actually I also tried to develop a methodology to, actually I have developed a kind of very, very broad methodology to assess the abiotic ecosystem services. So there are also benefits that can be part of these big, big pictures. What you think about that? I'm sorry if it's not a very intelligent question. I'm just saying it.
No, it's, I mean, obviously, environmental economics is a big field in its own right, and to include some sort of you know, environmental economic impact into this calculation, I think would be quite a complex thing. But you could certainly incorporate it in your multiplier coefficient if you had something where you could link it directly. You see, I suppose there's so many different factors that play into it, and things like organic status or not, or food miles or carbon footprint, and there's a lot of different things that would play into that kind of a calculation. And I'd be sort of you could add a couple of percentage points to something on the basis of it, but it would be quite a tricky thing to incorporate. You know, there's a lot of things that you could throw into this calculation, but for the purpose of being clear and being a little, keeping it manageable, I suppose I'd be inclined to kind of keep it as simple as you could. You know.
It was not a criticism. It was just a question. I mean, I think it's wonderful, and it gives some concrete numbers to talk about, and that's really, I think, is really something that the project could benefit. And I think I can speak in behalf of all of us. Thank you so much for the informative presentation. And we have to find a way how to, let's say, implement your tool in some way, because I know that you are a consultant, and unfortunately, just to be concrete and Nordic, we don't have any money to use in that thing in the project. But actually, has been a long time that I've been thinking to apply for a huge European project where we could focus on different thematic, and one of the thematics should be this one. I'm looking for the call for the next spring. It could be an Erasmus, but could be a research project. We have to find it together, the right call. But I think this tool will be something extremely important for GeoFood to have and to be applied to all the members. At the moment we are 32, but maybe it is also very important for Geopark that are not Geopark yet to calculate the impact of the local food and to use, because one of the ideas of this project is mostly to involve aspiring Geopark, to support them through GeoFood as a tool for involving local communities, to do the opposite than if you are already UNESCO Global Geopark, but also if you are not. The GeoFood and all the tools can help you to build up a local community engagement and to convince politicians also on sustainable practices. And politicians need number, they need assessment, they need so this is, I think this is really, really relevant. And I can see that Karma has a question, so I let you a little. No? Yeah.
Yes, it's not a question, it's only an answer. If the producers don't give us numbers, at least they can give us the number of the units they sell to make a comparison between the year before and this year, this kind of things. If they don't want to give us euros or things like that, okay. nothing else.
One of the things I was conscious of with the calculator is that it allows you to sort of calculate the difference from year to year in different layers of activity. So where you have, say, for example, a retailer who has been purchasing a couple of bits and pieces of locally produced food, but gets involved in the GeoFood project and then increases their throughput of locally produced food, that you can directly, and when I say attribution, I'd be conscious that, you know, some people would be doing some of this already, but this tool would allow you over a timeline, it would allow you to kind of attribute the growth in local food activity to the GeoFood project, if that is the reason why someone has increased their throughput. Or that example of someone buying inputs from a local producer. In where I am, I produce organic barley and I sell it to a local distillery, and you know that's something that we potentially are looking at in the Burren as well. There is a brewery and a distillery in the Burren, and we're encouraging them to source it locally. But there's a job of work there to be done with farmers to get them to produce the right stuff locally as well, and there wouldn't be a huge culture of grain production in the Burren. Some of the land is plenty capable of it, but you know that would be a very direct impact of the GeoFood project. It could be very clearly demonstrable, and you could use your multiplier factor to actually say this is worth this much. This change has been worth this much to the local economy.
Actually, we could also use it with the local politician to say, please, let's finance us a project which are because of this and this and this, because the main problem in Magma Geopark is that the producers are so small scale that the restaurant don't manage to use, they don't manage to have a contract, because the production is such a small scale production that they cannot guarantee the furnishment to the restaurants in a continuous way. So that's also an issue, but maybe demonstrating that the value of increasing also small scale productions locally, they can give to the overall benefit of the sustainable development of the area. If you find politicians that are enough clever to think about that, I think this is really, really what we need. I just use a second more to tell all of you that we've been in the final for the European Europa Nostra award from Creative Europe. We arrived in between the last four. Unfortunately, we didn't win. And the reason why we didn't win is that I got interviewed by an evaluator from Italy. It was from Slow Food. And Slow Food, I mean, is a university linked with Slow Food in Piemonte anyway. And the question was, do you have a tool that can measure the impact of GeoFood? And the answer was no. And I could not trick him because I need to speak Italian. So I could not say I don't know the language. So I had to reply exactly what he asked. And then we haven't, just to tell you, that was what we miss. And even though we discussed with Carol that the economic impact, we don't think that is the only impact that GeoFood should have, because mainly when you speak with local producers, they are so proud of telling the stories that their idea to be recognized and valorized internationally through UNESCO Global Geopark is a kind of proudness, which is getting almost at the same level than economic benefit. But however, I think that to be able to measure some kind of indicators of how this can benefit economically is really, really relevant. So we have to find a way to work together in a structured way. So thank you so much for this. Is anyone else has something to say, please?
Could I? Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I was just, and I'm loving this, and I'm sort of wondering about it sounds very much like a very first world project. Now I'm in northern Greece in a small city, 13,000 people. We're the largest city in the Geopark, which has not more than 25,000 people living in it. And from my window, I wish I could show you, I can see our farmers market. Our farmers market has been going on for hundreds and hundreds of years, you know? So we have a different picture. Our people love us. And if we serve them and advertise their geofoods, they will love us. But it's not so much about business, but it's about our heritage for foods. And this is something which is not fitting into the equations and the numbers. I'll probably not be able to show any pictures of the things, but one thing I would like to say is that down there in our market, there are probably 100 little grandmothers, little Greek grandmothers, if you can imagine. You are from Italy, so you know what little grandmothers look like. And they're sitting in the farmer's market and they're selling all this wonderful produce from their gardens. Now we can't include them as producers because they don't have professional papers. So we're trying to figure out how to work them into our project. I'm sure you have the same problem in Italy, because if you want to know about food, you ask a grandmother, right? And they'll tell you, oh, this we got from here and this we got from there. So in addition to the numerics and the Excel papers and all this, I mean, in what we're getting ready for our book, it'll take us a year to write, we're going all the way back into the Neolithic period of Greece and what people ate then and what they eat now. I'm not sure we'll be doing very good with the Excel templates. But for heritage and history, we do great, and our people love it.
And can I just interject here? The reason why, this exercise was undertaken was it's not to dominate the discussion around geofood or the importance of geofood. It's a factor. And we all agree that the heritage of food, the social and environmental impact of local food are so important, absolutely top of the list. Mm-hmm. But it's always useful for political reasons, for fundraising reasons, for even getting awards, et cetera, to be able to show some economic impact and to be able to measure that. So it's just part of the pie, to use, or the omelette, to use the analogy Chris used earlier. So it's just a contribution towards the overall story of geofood.
We can get some economics. I'm sure some of our producers will recommend some numbers, but essentially we have to go to the Chamber of Commerce, because the individual producers may not want to say how much money they make or don't make, because they have to file taxes on everything they produce, right?
One of the reasons why we established GeoFood, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but one of the criteria in the manifesto is also that we are fighting the black market. We want the workers to work with rights, and we contribute to the Sustainable Development Goal of that. But I understand your point. I come from Mediterranean region as you, and the knowledge of food is, we are not discussing how important is the culture around the food. The thing is that as a geopark, if you see the perspective as a geopark, we always struggle with money. So I just encourage you to see it as a tool for benefit the geopark and the local producer at the same time, not necessarily excluding any part of the fantastic connections with culture and archaeology and geology and geosciences that we are discussing. So just see it like that, please. It's I think that's what should be seen.
Michael Gleason, send us some of those PhD students you have running around. we run a lot of geological programs, but that's something new and will be difficult to find.
Yeah, please, Emmy.
I actually really resonate with what Annie's talking about, because here in Canada, admittedly, we're still aspiring, but that said, we're having our first round of inspections in 2 weeks' time. And
good luck.
It just happens that here in the Niagara region, we are sitting in an Indigenous treaty zone, which is called the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. And the Dish with One Spoon Wampum is, the heritage behind it is that people came to the Niagara region about food because it was a trading zone, and the agricultural attributes of the zone were incredibly important, and therefore the Indigenous populations are very much still very active in agricultural systems that are traditional, going back tens of thousands of years. And how do we equate that? Well, we're already having conversations to say, could we be applying GeoFood to agritourism operations where people are coming to see, and the tourism operation, but not in terms of the product label, but on the product as a service.
That's good. That's interesting.
And so could a market carry a GeoFood label saying that the market is a GeoFood operator, or could a town council carry a GeoFood label saying we are out espousing these values of environment and supporting traditional cultures and supporting production within the zone? And could then the farmers market, or they use it as part of their strategy rather than the grandmother or the indigenous farmer or the traditional hunter-gatherer that would be in the zone?
Fantastic.
Could I just, I suppose just in general, I think we've kind of we're going over the same territory a little bit. But, you know, I 100% resonate with what you're saying about the grandmother and the farmer's market. Farmer's markets was one of my major shticks when I started doing this work. I set up about 10 of them in different parts of Ireland. We're coming from a baseline where there were very little locally traded food, and we didn't have a culture like you do have in Mediterranean countries where people just went to the market and a market was already a part of what you did there. We were kind of setting markets up from scratch because we lost that sort of local trading infrastructure. But with any information you're going to gather, I mean, you're limited by what information you can get. And when you start talking about the value of the GeoFood project or a local food initiative, that's why I mentioned the thing about attribution, because there is a lot of activity in most countries that was going to be there anyway, whether or not a GeoFood project got involved. Now, part of what projects like Slow Food and GeoFood and projects like that be very close to my heart do is stop the rot to some extent and you know, represent these parts of the food economy and the food culture that are being lost and shining a light on them. That was very much what resonated with me when I joined Slow Food about 20 years ago. I heard Carlo Petrini talking about the concept of slow food and what it meant to advocate on behalf of the small producer and the grandmother who's selling her vegetables in the market.
I understand where GeoFood coming from.
And GeoFood is coming from a very similar place in a way. And, you know, but we have to be careful that we can say this is where it was at, but, you know, we have to be careful how we attribute the benefit of GeoFood then on top of that. And, you know, I 100% accept that there are certain things that you'll never be able to measure. And if you can't get the information, you can't measure it. If you can't get a figure, you can't put that included in your calculations. But you have to accept that you can't get everything. And you know, as long as you acknowledge when you present the figures that there may be some gaps in this information, or we couldn't get X, Y, and Z information to include in our calculations, it's still it undermines the final figure slightly. But as long as you know what the weaknesses are, at least you're not pretending it to be something it's not. So, you know, the grandmother selling her vegetables in the Greek village might not be able to be included in the spreadsheet, but, you know, it is what it is. I mean, I'm surely somebody has estimated the value of markets to the Greek economy. That has been done in many economies, and you could extrapolate or, you know, calculate a figure for the value of the markets in your geopark based on a kind of on some sort of a summary figure, I'm sure. But that's just to be cold and economic about the whole thing.
An economic value, whereas how we see it is as a heritage value, you know, as more worthwhile than the economics. We'll be missing a lot of information. We'll get something from, like I say, the Chamber of Commerce and things like this. They have numbers, but still it's the heritage. We don't want our locally produced foods to fall behind. They are so proud of themselves, not just the grandmothers, or organic farmers, or dairy farms. We have flour mills, which are selling all over the Balkans, and they are 200 years old, producing from our local flour. I mean, these are the things we want to keep up. I guess the economic impact on the local society is good, but it was there before we had a GeoFood program. And how we can help is to encourage the upkeep of the heritage of the foods. In addition to saying, yes, you know, we can do tourism or something more. People come tourism all over Greece. Tourism doesn't support it. The local people support it.
Thank you so much. And I have to interrupt the very interesting conversation. I leave the floor to Professor Remy, that she will give us a presentation of the job she carry on with our college, actually. The floor is yours, Remy. You want me to share your presentation? You're muted.
I am still muted. Thank you. I believe Sarah is leading the core presentation, and I have a couple quick slides, but
you will share the screen?
I can.
Or I can do it as you prefer. I have it here.
I think, Sarah, honestly, I think you're going to jump back in right after, or either you or Joanna are going to jump back in. So I would say go ahead and share your screen,
Okay.
Sarah.
Okay.
Thank you.
No, it's fine. I just have to find out Here we are. Here we are, right?
Perfect. Yes. So I appreciate the time. I do know that I am part of the board of an aspiring geopark, but we are having our inspection in 2 weeks' time for our first round with the Canadian Geopark Network. And I know the conversation with Michael Gleason was really fascinating in that we kept raising that aspect. How do we get students involved? Well, UNESCO does have a major mandate in terms of involving students, involving the education component within every single geopark. And so finding these opportunities is really vital. And here in the Niagara region, we just happen to be what's called the Canadian Food and Wine Institute, and I'm the founder of the National Technology Access Center for Food and Beverage Innovation here in Canada. And so we do have the access to large groups of students to participate in what we call course-based or work-integrated learning. And if you can move to the next slide, the photo here is a group of marketing students. UNESCO uses the terminology of work-integrated learning, and the idea is that within post-secondary education, that students have the chance to participate in what's called simulated learning or work-directed theoretical learning, problem-based learning, project-based learning, and workplace-based learning. And the idea that we had within our own geopark, because the education sector is a really dominant force in the formation of the Niagara Peninsula Geopark, was to really integrate as much of this work integrated learning opportunity and use the geopark from a catalyst for tourism research, a catalyst for food research, a catalyst for environmental research, and to integrate a lot of the work to be done into our course-based learning, such that we then have case studies. The students are performing those case studies. We as professors who are dominating the community board for our geopark then can pull the best results of those case studies forward into our reporting for economic purposes, reporting for the purposes of any number of different things. And so I can't stress enough, go back to the geopark boards that you have, because part of the certification process is the aspect of engagement with post-secondary education and research communities, and you may find some of these synergies. Now, one of our major synergies, I was put on the board because of my background in environmental activism here in the Niagara region, and my ancestors are well-known environmental advocates going back more than 100 years in the Niagara region. fighting for the protection of many of the major geosites that have been identified as protection. And so that's why I got put on the board. But then they're like, oh, well, you work in food research. What can be involved in here? If we can move to the next slide. I have the chance of working with my students and doing that work integrated learning. The photo in this one slide here is our distillery, and that is actually a campus building. And we are distilling grape spirits, we're distilling whiskeys, we're distilling rum and so on. Long story short, Sarah's got a great comment there. I want to underline the main reason to use GeoFood for geoparks is the geological heritage and story labeling in a systematic way. And those storytelling, this is where you can take a really creative angle. We have our students involved in a wide variety of different programs. I just happen to control the food programs and take advantage of the students within the courses that I teach, but we're now working on expanding out to our other programs. So those are marketing or communications, journalism, tourism, environment, and so on. And working with those students so that because it's on a voluntary basis and we structure it very strategically within our course learning outcomes, the students then have a portfolio piece that they're doing on a voluntary basis to the contribution of the geopark, which is driven by, in our case, mostly volunteers. It's allows for that really big ecosystem approach to performing the research outcomes and goals that we want to do. We're just happening to be expanding a lot of our work into environment in the near future, and we're going to have some fun with that. The next slide is an actual output from my students, and we were really fortunate to have Sarah and Joanna and Kristen communicating via email with our students to talk about some of the tactics that the students could participate in. But when our students have been involved in a couple different course-based projects. The first one was on intellectual property and WIPO evaluation on the trademarks. This was done about 2 years ago, earlier in the stage. This time around, we were looking at objective number 3 to understand what would be the priority on those toolkits for different stakeholders within the GeoFood branding strategy. So different stakeholders being, are you a, let's say you're part of geopark management? Are you a food producer? Are you a restaurant owner? Are you a retailer or distributor? What would be the toolkits that would be most important to you in terms of prioritization? Because the number of toolkits that are possible are enormous. Let's prioritize and identify which ones were which. And so we built out a survey tool. We haven't launched the survey tool yet because, again, this is part of that conversation, but we've had some back and forth dialogue with Sarah, Joanna, and Kristen, whether the survey tool should be modified back to be country specific, or should we do a broad range survey tool? Right now, the survey as it's structured is a global survey, and we are ready to launch it if we have the blessing of Sarah and the team through our social media channels and get it out for the purposes of what we call stimulus mining. The idea being, can we quickly assess the status of which toolkits are priority for different zones? We can also then disaggregate that data based off of country-based response and disaggregate to say, okay, within Canadian geoparks, here are some priorities versus European geoparks, or perhaps just the Niagara specific geopark zone. We can do that data disaggregation within the survey data collection. But I welcome you to take a look. We haven't launched the survey live yet, but I'm a big believer in feedback and continuous improvement, and I'd love to hear comments about the sense of using a survey for prioritizing toolkit development for objective number 3.
Okay. So I suppose that we can just take a picture of the QR code.
The QR code is right there, exactly.
Yeah, and then you can see the form, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, then we can share the presentation later on. And thank you so much for your contribution, of course, and yeah, the job that you've done. How many students did you involve?
So on the design of this survey tool, we had 15 students involved in the development of the survey. So it started with ideation. We actually quite literally whiteboarded the ideation, and then we converted that whiteboard ideation over into an electronic whiteboard format so that we could share it with Sarah, Joanna, Christian, and they could observe the ideation process. We built out a dendritic decision-making tree strategy within the questions that the students were asking. And a lot of the questions are focused on prioritization of what are the tools that would be the most helpful for the different subsectors of the agri-food value chain within different geoparks.
I think we already agreed that we will share your form to our
I love it.
And we will wait to the result. And of course, we thank you for this enthusiasm and for taking GeoFood as a case study in the university. Is really a great achievement. And is anyone have any question? Okay, so if not, thank you again, Emmy, and we will check the form and we will share it, and we will come back to you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And let's see if there's, yeah. Then it's our colleague Joana Rodrigues from Naturtec UNESCO Global Geopark in Portugal. I let her the floor. If it's okay, Joana, I share the screen.
Yes, thank you, Sara. Well, just a very quick reminding that for the new colleagues here present, the project, we try to work all together, of course, and we have these meetings specifically to do this kind of very interesting discussions and brainstorming, and to try to establish the methodologies. But there's a smaller group of the steering committee, and everyone that wants to contribute more can, of course, can talk with us to join also, where we discuss in more detail and we put in practice and we make the reports, etc., etc. And you can count on me, Christian, and Sarah, of course, Sarah, our leader, to solve any and to help anything that we can do. We have, can you please change the, Sarah? Thank you. We have, we were talking about the Google Drive. We have a shared folder where we have all the documents about the IGCP project, everything that is being done until now, all the outputs, all the plannings, the contacts of everybody is there. Also, all the minutes of all the meetings we had. There's always agendas and minutes, so you can check. Even if you are just entering now, you can go back and see everything there. Perhaps now we should, if you don't have access, you can click. If there's no access, you request and we will introduce your, sometimes there's some difficulties. Amy had this difficulty this week with our institutional emails because Google Drive is for Gmail accounts. So you have to ask a request and we immediately integrate you. And now we are going to, as we were discussing, to perhaps include a new folder where everybody's going to be invited to share their labels and more information.
John, I just interrupt you a second to say that it would be fantastic if each of you write the name of the geopark in the chat, the geopark that you're representing, because some of you are new and we don't know exactly the name. So it would be nice then we can write in the minute the geopark that were present. Thank you very much. Sorry.
You know, thank you. Good remind. Yes. Can we move, please? So we have our colleague Oliver from Heisenburgen is responsible for coordinating the external communication of the project. Unfortunately, he could not attend this meeting, but he has organized the annual plan for this year. And it's very important because UNESCO obliges to participate in conferences and to publish. These are some of the mandatory output, also to show that we are communicating with our territory. So it's important also to include papers, articles from the local media or national media. So please, if you, when you share with your media, local media, please send us or include in the, in the Google Drive, I'm sorry, there's someone.
Patricia, you have the microphone on, please. Maybe Christian, you can mute her.
Can mute, yes. Well, so the idea is if you have some parts of media that is interesting about the project, please also share in the folder, because this is all work that we have been done in promoting the project and outputs. It was also created a LinkedIn account beside the social media that there existed already for GeoFood, the Facebook page and the Instagram account. There's also now the LinkedIn specific for the GeoFood. It would be nice if you could share also some of the activities you do under the scope of GeoFood and specifically about the project. It would be also interesting to have some conference papers. For example, we will have in September our EGN. Could be interesting if also some of the partners can share their activities they are doing in their geopark. That could also count as communication.
Okay, you can go on if you like.
Well, it was exactly this I was talking about. So we will have it in the end of September, the EGN conference in César Valgrande. So the project, GGCP project, will be there. We will trying to organize a meeting face-to-face for the first time after 2 years of working together. But of course, it could be interesting if we could share some presentations, make some presentations showing also the feedback of the project in our territories, showing what we have already achieved, who has already implemented some of the, or how have we used the outputs of the project. Well, it's up to, and of course we can also, and we should do something together also about the project. Sarah, I don't know if you want to add something.
Yeah, I just want to add I just pushed the wrong button. Sorry, we are looking everything else than the presentation. Hello. Yes, I just like to add. Thank you very much, Joanna. It was very okay. Just underline that for the first time we will be there because was the only opportunity where mostly of the Geopark would go there anyway. I'm sorry for the friend outside Europe, but that was really the only way we have, because the project, it doesn't pay for everyone, of course. We will have we can invite people from undeveloped countries. So actually we will have 3 guests, one from Cutralcura, one from Uruguay, and one from Iran, which is Soma. They are entitled to be financed by the project to come to the conference. So it will be my kind of responsibility to bring them here to arrange the travel and the stay in Italy. I didn't say at the beginning, the project got awarded with $8,500, which has to be used mainly for traveling and for the maintenance of the web page and for administration. We cannot use, unfortunately, for anything else for some reason. And I can only use it also for people from undeveloped country, as I said. And the list of undeveloped country is not made by me, but is made by UNESCO. So it's rather complex. It would be much easier if they just let me use the money, but they don't do that. So anyway, we will do our best also maybe to try to be online during the meeting when we'll be there. We will share the content with you, so you can maybe be online with us. And if anyone has any question or remarks, or please write your name in the chat because we are listing the present. If anyone has anything to say, please go on, or then we will start the GeoFood meeting in actually 5 minutes. We should have a coffee in between, so. Okay, so if everyone is fine, let's have a coffee and come back in 10 minutes if it's okay by you.
Okay, that's
I
good.
just stopped the video, but I'm here. Thank you so much to all of you. Can we take a picture? Can you switch on the camera? Even if you are in pajama or naked or whatever. Thank you. Need a picture. Dai, Paul, where are you? Alexandra, yeah. Patricia, Martina, I can see you. Also, Vangelis, I can see you. Anna, she's switched on fly right now. Here we are, Oeste. Even Lisa from New Zealand. It's so nice to see you. Mark from Canada. Francis is not there. Okay, we take a picture of the one that are here. Sorry for asking, but it's very nice to show that we are existing. Thank you so much, and let's have a coffee. See you start. Thank you very much. We are recording if everyone is okay with it, because there are new participants. If not, that's good. Yes, let's share the screen and we go a little bit into detail about GeoFood, and then there will be some space for questions and hopefully answer as well. Here we are. So yes, I'm pleased to present this project, which is GeoFood. It's led by Magma Geopark. I am Sargentilini, project manager in the Geopark in Norway since 2011. I am kind of inventor and running these initiatives from 2015. I have to thank all of you, because without you, this project cannot be possible, because no one does things alone. So it's a result of a team job. So thank you very much to the members, the supporters, the aspiring Geopard that show interest, and thanks also to Magma Geopard that let me do this, let me lead this project since a long time. GeoFood, well, GeoFood, it's about Geopard, people, nature, and food. We just developed, thanks to the IGCP project last year, a new webpage that we hope that you like it. The address is the geofood.ino. We talk about the GeoFood in general, the concept, the values, the manifestos that are behind it. We collect the GeoFood educational specific tools and initiatives. We talk about the IGCP project, which is the section regarding science. And we promote all the GeoFood UNESCO Global Geopark member and actually the producers and the restaurants in a specific section of the webpage with their storytelling. And we talk about sustainability, because sustainability and development in a sustainable way, it's the core of the overall GeoFood idea. So I just like to be sure that there are no misunderstandings. I know that some of you already heard about it before, but there are some new friends here. So I like to say that the GeoFood has nothing to do with UNESCO. It's absolutely not mandatory for becoming UNESCO Global Geopark to embrace GeoFood, and it's not officially recognized by UNESCO Global Geopark yet. I need to tell you that because I knew that there were some rumors around that tell that I tried to sell it as an official UNESCO label. That's not it. GeoFood is a Magma Geopark initiatives that include UNESCO Global Geopark only, which are keen on working under the same values, of course, in the same framework as the UNESCO Global Geopark values have been developed along the last 20 years. We want to engage local company and developing local food products. I like to say that each geopark is responsible for the correct communication to both to your local community and to Magma Geopark. Each geopark should keep track of their own agreement. Magma Geopark is not interfering to any of your local development, because geoparks are about a bottom-up approach in each single area. Each single area is so peculiar that Magma Geopark don't even think about introducing with its idea or its values in your own geopark. So please, if you need advice, don't hesitate to contact me, but it's just all up to you. Magma Geopark give you the brand and the values and the manifesto, and then you are the responsible for developing in your own territory, because no one else better than you know your local people. The registration of the product and the restaurant must be completed in the Google form before you advertise GeoFood in your own geopark. But we'll come back to this technicality a little bit later. These was just some remarks, starting remarks. Yeah, I have to welcome new GeoFood members. Actually, five UNESCO Global Geopark decided from the last meeting we had to join the GeoFood, which are 2 located in Greece, in Grevena and Sitia in Crete. One is in Germany, the Thuringia Hinselberg, one in France, Haute-Provence, and one more in Canada with Stone Amber. So we are very, very pleased to welcome you inside these initiatives, and we are really, really looking forward to work with you to embrace the value of our local communities through food. At the moment, yesterday, we become 33. Sitia UNESCO Global Geopark just joined last afternoon, and I included in the map. So now we are 33 members from 20 countries. One of the first remarks is, of course, that every UNESCO Global Geopark in the world can ask the membership to join the GeoFood. And the geoparks that are already part of the GeoFood are, let's say, kindly asked to insert the GeoFood information in your webpage. I decided this morning to go back to the previous map that we have in Google Map, because I think it's a very useful tool for all of you. It's simple and it's easy to share in your social media and in your webpage. So through this link, and we will share the presentation in Google Drive, so you will have the link. You can actually advertise the overall network in your social media. Just copy and paste the link. In each single pin, you find short information about the geopark and the link to the page of the GeoFood page. So this is something I just decided to keep it alive, because at the moment it got 12,000 visualization, this map. So I think it was very important for the development of the network that we keep it alive. What I like to say also, without scaring anyone, without being a kind of police, just a fact. We are very aware that each territory has its own peculiarities. As I said before, we don't want to interfere in anything. We just like to support all together. But we should have a plan. After some time, the territory should have a plan on how to implement GeoFood. And this is for the people that are already members. There are some steps that are suggested to be taken. And we can also take inspiration from the IGCP project, which will develop tools for this. But at some point, we will need to have some results. So it's okay to take your time, but every member, it's kindly requested to register the product and the restaurant after a certain amount of time. And if Geopark don't have any product yet, it can ask for support, and we will try to do our best to help him to develop product. As you may know, the GeoFood Initiatives is divided into 3 fields of action: tourism and promotion of local source food product and local traditions and heritage through storytelling; education, sharing the Geopark values and the sustainability, not only linked with food, but linked with all the Geopark values and all the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal; and the research and innovation. We are boosting the brand, creating new strategy, networking, at the moment with the IGCP project that we presented before. The tourism is about, let's say, promoting and boost local food experiences. It's mainly explicit in the promotion that we do of each single product and of each single geopark and restaurants. The main hashtag we use is the Taste Geoparks. So every time we advertise a producer or a restaurant, we use this hashtag. We have been translating the manifesto and the values and criteria in, I think, 15 languages. And we are supporting in developing storytelling. At the moment, we have 43 restaurants, 2 food trails, and 67 producers that have been registered in the webpage. This is a great achievement, so I have to thank all of you. And I also know that there are geoparks that didn't have time to register their product yet. So actually the effective GeoFood product and restaurant are many more. but they don't get counted if they're not included in the system. So that's just a very, very good result. And thanks to all of you for the enthusiasm that you put in the initiatives and for working in your local communities. This is really great. The Geofood quality is not based on any analysis of chemical composition. It's based on 4 main points. We embrace in the Geofood quality and in the storytelling the knowledge from the local community, the heritage know-how, including the mythology, the toponymy, the name of the places. The landscape and the geological interpretation are the most important part of it. We like to explain the geological landscape, the cultural landscape, and the geomorphology of the place and the connection with the local food raw material. That's why GeoFood is rather original compared to, for instance, to slow food that we mentioned before. It's because we want to explain geology through food, and that's we think is rather cool. Of course, an important point is also explaining the knowledge on the production and processing technique. They can also be part of the storytelling. How the cheese is produced, for instance, where the milk will come from, the scale of the productions. All these elements create an effective storytelling that we like to tell to the people. It's absolutely the core of GeoFood, the storytelling. So that means that it has to be visible. You can choose to make it visible basically in two ways, but more ways are welcome if you are creative enough. I just like to underline 2 main ways to do it. On the label, you can write as a short text or the link to the web page where the product or the restaurant are described. And that page can be basically the Geopark page or the company page itself, or a QR code connection to the web page where the information regarding GeoFood are stored. So that means that every time before registering a product in the form, you should have developed the storytelling, the brand should be implemented on the label, and the restaurant should have a plate saying, and a menu, they say that they are serving GeoFood. This is simple because there is also kind of evolution. I mean, you can start with a producer. I take this because it's a fantastic good example from Discovery UNESCO Global Geopark. They take this company, a small scale company, and of course you thinking, okay, let's registering because they in the main form that the GeoFood network has, because they sign an agreement with us. Actually is not correct. Before writing in the form, you should have developed the storytelling, and you have to be in a way sure that the producer is advertising or in the Geopark page or in their own page is expressively underlining the connection with the Geopark and the GeoFood. That's the main idea. I take some wonderful examples from all around the world because I like to show you how much you are growing and how good you are working. So actually, here you can see example from VIS in UNESCO Global Geopark in Croatia, from Keshem, from Langkawi, from Udeonsang, from Korea, from Rukwa in Finland, and from Las Loras in Spain. Then we go into Spain again with the Villuercas, then we go to Hydra, then we go to Novograd. We even had an event in Geopark in Austria that I never managed to pronounce. Then we have some product developed in Tuscany and a fantastic event in the Bar and Slow Food Festival, where we've been very pleased to be part of. So actually GeoFood, it's growing enormously around the world, and it is extremely, let's say, fulfilling to see the success of this idea. And it's only thanks to your very hard job. I can show you here a couple of wine from one from Estrella, UNESCO Global Geopark, and one from Sesia Valgrande, and all the product from Naturtejo, a fantastic queso artisanal from Uruguay, all the producer for Barren and Cliff, a restaurant in Terra de Cavaleiros in Portugal. And then we go to the educational We develop a leaflet, which is possible for you to get it and to modify in your own languages with your own pictures, like the Portuguese network did and like Mudeon Sang did. They got the, someone should switch off the microphone, please. They got the form and then they fill it in with information. Then we have other example of educational material, like we are developing some videos locally explaining how seaweed are useful for, can be the future of food in cooperation with school. We have other translation of leaflet at local level. So please, if you like to develop your own leaflet using the same framework, don't hesitate to ask me and you will get the open file for it. Here is an example from Mudeon Sang. They make their own local leaflet with their map of the geopark and the geofood producers around the geopark. Then we developed the fantastic game on geofood, thanks to the cooperation with HATEG and the volunteers in HATEG UNESCO Global Geopark in Romania. Through the IGCP project, it's possible for you to get the board game available. You can change the map and you can adapt it to your own area. Just writing an email to Christian. I think you got a couple of mail from me about it, but if you haven't, please contact me. Anyway, the game is available on our geofood.no page and is downloadable for free for all of you. It would be fantastic nice if after you start to use it, you will tell us your consideration and how to make it better. There is a manual for the use of the brand, which you get every time you when you get member of the GeoFood. Our Portuguese colleague, they translate it in Portuguese. It's much easier for the local company if you get it translated in your own language. Also for this, we have an open file. Don't hesitate to ask if you want to translate it in your local languages. It's very important because it tells you how to use the brand of your geopark together with the GeoFood label and maybe give also good tips how to tell the stories of your product and then the menu. As we presented before, GeoFood is also about research. We get awarded as a best project 2021. We want to develop the overall concept around local food involving 56 scientists. All the GeoFood partners are member automatically of the IGCP project and everyone can be part of it just of you. Even the aspiring geopark that are today joining the project. If you like to join the IGCP project, you're welcome to do it. You don't need to be a UNESCO Global Geopark to do it. Actually, aspiring geopark are very, very welcome in that. I finished my presentation. I didn't want to take it too long. So actually, if anyone has any question, I would like to reply. If not, we give the floor to each of you that can start to, let's say, talk about, no, sorry, the first Joanna that has to welcome, excuse me, Joanna, so the floor is yours.
Thank you. Just to say, to explain our colleagues that are already members on GeoFood, that as in IGCP, we had aspiring with us. We thought it could be interesting, and because also aspiring are, of course, need more support to understand better the brand as they are outside of the network and to understand how do we work. And it's also interesting that we can see how can the GeoFood project, the GCP can help to develop, because of course it's very difficult to start working a brand that cannot be used. So it's our idea is also to support also in the conceptual part of GeoFood that territories can already start working, and then when they become UNESCO Global Geopark, more easily they can make it compatible, their local brands with the GeoFood, and also geoparks that are already UNESCO Geoparks, but we're using our other brands. For example, like here in Atejo Geopark, since 2009, we have our GeoProduct brand that since 2019 we are putting together with GeoFood. But that detailed, and then I will present in my 2 minutes. So that's it. The idea is that really that also aspiring geoparks bring their questions, and of course, some of the questions it's very difficult to answer because it's develop a brand that cannot be used. It's difficult, but please, we are here to share ideas and brainstorm. For sure, we can share practices and examples that already worked in other territories. Thank you very much, Sarah.
Okay, I think we give the floor to our friend from Korea. I'm not sure if Cheon Song, UNESCO Global Geopark, is here.
Yeah, she's on a business trip now, so she couldn't attend.
Okay, so the floor is yours from Udeon Sang, please.
Okay. Hello, I'm Yeon Woo from Mudeungsan UNESCO Global Geopark. Following last year, we produced labels and menu board with the GeoFood logo applied. In this process, we discussed with each geo partner what needs to be improved, and we decided to wear this same apron at restaurant. Next, last week at the Geo Forum attended by Geoparks in Korea, I introduced Geofood network activities. In particular, the Geopark Secretariat gave good comments. Joining the Geofood network was a good attempt. And it would be good for all geoparks in Korea to join this brand. We have 4 actually. And also good to refer to rules of the GeoFood brand when establishing the GeoPartner criteria for Korea national geoparks. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. It was great, and thank you for sharing your presentation with us, and thank you for sharing the concept in your country, and that's really good ambassador. Thank you very much. The apron idea is wonderful. I think we will all have one of it, and thank you so much to be here, because I know it is very, very late. So thank you very, very much.
Thank you.
So I think it's the floor of Langkawi UNESCO Global Geopark, if they are present. If not, we go to Grevena. Annie is at the phone. Is anyone from, is there Annie? Or?
Who has the turn now? I hope it's not me.
Yeah, it should be you. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, but we can talk later. No problem.
Okay, no, I will just talk, because for the time it'll take me to get my thing to set up, it'll be too hard. That's what I was phoning about. Geopark is a marvelous thing for us. We have next, and like I say, it's beloved of the people. The people want it. Our people that live here want to celebrate their food heritage. Starting next in about 2 weeks, we have a 3-day food festival in our little town. 3 whole days. Can you imagine? That's a lot of food for us to test and taste. We used to have these every year, but it's been not for the COVID last 2 years. We haven't. So this is going to be good. My wonderful colleague, Dina Gikas, managed to get us a seat on the organizers table, where there will be a large banner which says their Geopark name, and it will have the GeoFood symbol on it as well. And we'll use this time to give out pamphlets and make associations with people. Now, the 3 pictures I was going to show, I'll just describe them very quickly, because like I say, I'm so concerned in the heritage, the people here in the heritage. The first picture shows a Neolithic that is 8,000-year-old flour mill from our museum. Flour, wheat flour, wheat was introduced in mythology by the goddess Dimitra. And let me point out, in our big wheat producing area of the Geopark, we have a village which is named Dimitra. So the tradition continues. I also had a picture showing one of our kitchens from the town of Siatista, showing how a kitchen worked in about 200 years ago, okay? And many of our kitchens in our local villages still look like this. And the third picture I had was one of our beloved yayas, of whom could be anywhere around the Mediterranean. And we're wondering how to work them in, because they don't have the produce and how much money they produce. They don't have those kind of businesses. They pay to the farmers market to sell their garden produce, and you know, they make some money from that, but I think they just enjoy there. If you ever go to one of these farmers markets, the ladies speak Greek, but we can help translate, and start them in conversation, they'll tell you hours and hours of wonderful stories about we had a wedding in 1932 and what we served there. I'm thinking, Sarah, if it's okay, that we might make some little pin-on buttons that have the GeoFood symbol on them, that we might be able to give to some of these ladies in recognition of their contribution to the heritage.
It is a fantastic idea. Also the apron you can do.
Exactly. Well, an apron would be nice, but that costs more money. I think the buttons, things inexpensive. And we're hoping within the year to start having, we have actually one of our Geopark directors is a fabulous regional cook, a chef for heritage foods. So we're going to start having a video. Hopefully, we're trying to convince him to do this. He's very cute, so you like watching him. Trying to have our own little cooking show for GeoFoods.
A very, very good idea.
So we have many things going on. Some things bureaucracy has kept us slow on. This is Greece. We excel at GeoFoods and at bureaucracy, you know, but things are going. Okay.
Thank you so much for your contribution. Thank you very much. I think it's very good what you're doing. And it's anyone here from Grutas del Palacio? If not, let's give the floor to Christian. Oh, so Christian disappeared. No, he's here.
Yes, I'm here.
Here you are.
So what is our situation? We recently have had our revalidation, and what I wanted to tell you is that GeoFood was very much appreciated by the evaluators. So it's also a good way to show that the Geopark is functioning, because you have the relationship with the producers, you have your label in the restaurant, you have the menu there promoting the geology of the territory. So through GeoFood is also a good shortcut to show to anyone, and especially to the evaluators, that things are working well in your Geopark. Besides that, we did not have any new producers with the label. So we only have one restaurant so far, but we had many discussions and things are improving. So we started just before the pandemic, and during the pandemic with the labeling. It was a problem because the producers and the restaurants are still struggling. And now what keeps us back is the war, which is very close to us, and still people are stressed and they are reluctant to invest in something new. They just want to keep things going, and hopefully things will not get worse. So it's a psychological barrier now in our territory for things to have new things. So we had the talks, we had a lot of hope to have about 5 more producers labeled, But everything stopped when the Ukrainian refugees started coming, and that changed our priorities. So we have hope that we will improve the brand. It's working well with this one restaurant, and if things will improve on the international level, very soon I think we will have about 5 more enterprises and producers labeled. Thank you.
Thank you, Christian. We all hope for the peace very soon. And sorry to hear that, but it's understandable. It's really close, and in Europe is the moment is a big struggle for everyone. But the closest country, worse it is, of course. So we are all with you in a way. So thank you for your report. Now I think the floor to Haute-Provence. I think there is a member of the staff here with us, Joël. You are muted. The microphone. I'm not sure. You have the microphone off, Joël. We cannot hear you. She started. Okay. That's nothing we can do.
Okay, sorry.
No, it's okay. It's
so Provence, is it in the southeast of France here? So it's a big territory. I don't know how to. Some pictures of our territory from Carboniferous, some of Mesozoic with Ichthyosaurus, Ammonites, Gypsum, Triassic, some from Cenozoic. It's just to say what we are and where we are, and
of course it's perfect. Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Okay.
We just arrived, so
bird footprints in the marine morass, and the very famous fold, the Velodrome Falls, and some moraine from the glaciation, the last glaciation, and some erratic block, and some pictures of landscape, just to have a look like that. We are also a territory of land art. I think that a lot of people know that. Of course, natural heritage. So now we now have got 38 geo partners, which make local products, of course, restaurants, and place to sleep, and natural activity. And in those geo partners, 4 of them wants to be are interesting to be GeoFood member. So this is our territory with the buffer zone. We've made that because we've got almonds, for example, almond producer, which are not in our geopark. And as you can see, we produced fruit trees,
apples,
cheese, honey, and things like that. Not our truffles, important. So the 4th people who want to be a geofooder, I don't know if I can say that, but
of course,
the 4 producers, 3 of them are in the provincial part of the geopark, and 1 only in the alpine part. So it's olive oil producer, honey producer, and saffron producer, and a special peer. We are going to have a special event to promote this GeoFood first, the fourth people who wants to be a GeoFooder. It will be at the end of June. So just some pictures about the fourth people who wants to be GeoFood, to have the label. So the Sarto pear is a kind of pear you can have using sweet pears. After that, it's an old pear, and it's interesting because it's they do that and their parents as well and things like that. So it's important because the producer of the to confection the pears, the sweet pears, just want to stop. So it's important to have another producer to do that. After another one, the other one is from Saffron, Saffron de Provence, and this as well is it was an interesting production at the beginning of the 20th century, and after it disappeared. And now this producer wants to do it again, so it's interesting. And honey producer with local flower, and the last one is a producer of olive oil with Aglando olive. It's a kind of olive, special olive. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. It's very, very nice and great that you have planned, and you really have an interesting territory. So thank you so much for coming and telling us, and thank you for joining. Thank you. So yes, so I think that's the next is our friend from Slovenia, Idrija. So Urška is momentarily. Urška is here. Hi. You're muted. Try. We can hear your mouse.
Yeah, but you can.
Yes, here you are.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. I will share my screen, okay?
Thank you.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So first, a location of our geopark. We are in the western part of Slovenia.
Okay, he's not going the presentation. It's not in presentation mood, so.
Yes, but I have.
It's okay. Just change the slide manually.
Do you see now?
Now we see the first slide, but then doesn't change.
Okay.
Just push with the mouse on the second one if you manage. Yes.
Yeah.
Now you are in the second.
Okay. I would like to introduce to you our collective trademark. We have our own collective trademark. So beside the food products, we certify also the handicraft products, but the criteria are similar as for GeoFood. And in the moment, we have almost 60 products certified, 60 food products certified, and around 15 menus in restaurants. Sorry, we have a mess here. Recently, we have certified Idria breakfast product, and I see this as a potential GeoFood product, which this Idria breakfast, it includes dairy products, honey, tea, bread, seasonal fruit, meat products, and is designed as an additional offer for tourist accommodation which do not serve their own breakfast. The main purpose of this product is to offer the guests a crumb of local products and tastes, and to encourage them to visit local producers in person, see their farm stores or experience they provide. It can be bought in online store in our tourist office, and it's prepared by the agricultural and forestry cooperative and can be picked up in their local grocery stores. The breakfast comes with a gift, with a family ticket for our exhibition, our Geopark exhibition called Written in Rocks. I would like to introduce some of our producers. They are also suitable also for the GeoFood brand, but we have to encourage them to cooperate with us also for this brand. We have some farms in villages around Idria, some beekeepers, as I mentioned, this agriculture and forestry cooperative, and the House of Herbs in Idrijske Krnice. So maybe this breakfast is also a good example for other geoparks to involve in their offer. Thank you.
I think it's a fantastic, good idea. So I think it's really interesting because, as you said, not every hotel offers breakfast, and maybe tourists are in camping places, or then they like to have a special start of the day. So it's a very good idea how to promote the Geopark. I think some of us will steal the idea for sure. So congratulations. Congratulations for this idea, really.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for being here. So I think our friends from Iceland are not here because they are receiving a guided tour and a lot of guests these days. I think I heard Patricia before from Chile, Cutralcura. I'm not sure she's here. Patricia, are you here? No, she don't seem. Is anyone from Cutralcura? We can proceed and let's see what happened.
Otherwise, I could continue. I'm here for the Sitia Geopark on behalf of Angeli, but he had to run to the park because we have an exhibition tomorrow, and yeah. Okay. We have.
Welcome.
Thank you. So this is our local agreement sign. It's visible on all the restaurants in Sitia and in the area which are participating in the program. And since we are an olive oil region, we have a lot of olive oil farmers who are also joining the program. Here's just a list of it. And we also have a lot of honey producers and herbs, for example. And yeah, we have a couple of restaurants who are already have joined the program in Sitia itself and in other villages. And it seems like they're more interested to yeah, come and join the program sometime soon. So yeah.
Thank you so much and super welcome. looking forward to work with you, and it's really great that you could join us. And yes, you seem already have a plan, so let's talk soon and keep in contact. Thank you again. Now I think we can give the floor to Las Auroras. Karma, she was here. Is she still here?
Yes, I'm here.
Hi.
I'm going to share also my screen, and first of all, I'm going to say to Urska that I'm going to copy this idea of give a gift, this kind of gift when you buy a Geo product. It's a good idea. Well, sharing the screen. This one. And I think that I don't see now. Yes. Well, first of all, only to remember that we are in Spain, in the north of Spain. Geofood for us is one part of our agroecological project. We don't have a lot of producers, organic producers, I mean, at this moment that you can see here. And still with some of them, we are working on putting the storytelling in the label. You know that it's very, very difficult sometimes, okay? But we are working with them. And this is our label with the GeoFood, the GeoFood one. During this year, just 1 week ago, 1 week and a half, the permanent ecotourism seminar is a national level, asks us to explain what is GeoFood. So it was an honor for us to present with your slides, Sarah, what was GeoFood, the GeoFood project, and how we implement it, okay? During this year, we also organize different agroecological markets like last year. We hope during this year we make 3, 2 during the seminar, 1 in October with when we have potatoes, because our region is special for potatoes. We continue with the trial field of potato varieties adapted to organic farming. It's a 5-year project, and it's not only for research, it's also a training field. Last year we have a very good harvest season. It was incredible, and with some results we wrote some articles in specialized magazines, and also we gave we have this data for some meetings in Jeju in 2021, and also we want to write something for the EGM meeting in 2022. Something that we have done this year also was to test the potatoes, these 12 varieties of potatoes, with the local people, with 2 people. We taste them and we make a test about color, smell, texture, both fried and cooked. It was very interesting experience. Also, this field gives us the opportunity to have visitors. Last year and the beginning of this year, we have 87 visitors, national and international. So they were farmers, agricultural companies, and many other groups like this cycling club that was interested in this initiative. And well, the farmer and his family just last month has begun to prepare everything for this next season. And about what we are going to do during the months we have in front of us. We want to work with collaborating entities to make them to use the local products, so they will be also GeoFood restaurants, for example. And we are also preparing to them a small stand to put in the restaurants or in their accommodation to show and if they want to sell these local products. And we are in this moment right now. Okay, that's all.
It's fantastic. I think really doing great. It's so nice, this picture. I agree with Theodore. It's so nice, the picture with the potato and the rock. And I'm going to steal it.
I forgot to say that also the evaluators came to our
this to this field. So we can show also the GeoFood project to our evaluators, as Christian has said before.
And they like it.
Yeah, a lot.
You're doing a very good job. Thank you so much for your experience. I think we all have to learn from each other, and really, that's the whole idea of being here today. So thank you so much for that. Our friend from Finland, Lana Launharvuori, UNESCO Global Geopark, they cannot be here. I just can tell you briefly that they got awarded from the region to run the local GeoFood project. So they are employee a person. Thanks to the power of the idea, they got money locally, and they are actually developing the network further, and they were super enthusiastic to tell us. And just to tell you briefly, also Oliver could not be here from the Natura-owned Geopark Steriskeisenwurzen. I asked him to change the name of his geopark, but he didn't really agree. We met in Paris, and I suggested him to call it Oliver Geopark, but he didn't really like that. Anyway, he could not be here, but I can tell you that he is running his first gathering with the local producer. They are going to implement GeoFood, starting with the apple, of course, in Austria, and they are keen on they already got some company that are going to work on it. Then is the turn of my friend Joanna from Naturtejo.
Hello again. So just before I start, let me share with you, today I'm here in Estrela Geopark. I'm not in Naturtejo because our colleagues from Estrela Geopark that unfortunately cannot attend the meeting because they are organizing a festival here in their amazing office in the headquarters, but I'm here alone. They are working outside in a festival where they're organizing a GeoFood stand with products from all the geoparks. So it's a very interesting event. When they apologize, they cannot be because they are really mantling the stand and putting the product. So regarding Naturtejo Geopark, can you see it?
It's coming.
Oof, I think I blocked my.
The line maybe is slow. I don't know.
I was make compliments to the internet. Let me try again.
Never compliment the internet before. Yeah, it works.
But you don't see in.
We see everything.
Big mode.
No, not in big mode, but.
Well, okay. I think now it's.
Yeah, perfect.
So do you see the whole screen?
Yes.
Okay, sorry.
Perfect.
So and also another detail regarding the Portuguese geoparks, the last two GeoFood meetings we have been presenting together because we have a national strategy. We are working with the tourism of Portugal, and we developed already common tools. We translated some GeoFood documents, but this time we thought it would be nice also to bring some the last feedback from each territory. So our challenge, as I was saying before, here in Naturtejo Geopark, is to integrate the geo products that we already have since 2009 in the new GeoFood brand, and it's not always so simple as it seems. Now we have already with GeoFood brand 9 agricultural fruit products. We have olive oil, we have cheese, we have cookies and jams, we have meat. Organic meat. Most of our producers are also organic certified, and we have nowadays 3 GeoFood menus in two restaurants, and we have a hotel that is Monsanto Geo Hotel that has a Geo menu for breakfast. We are working very closely with the municipality of Idanha Nova, that beside UNESCO Global Geopark is also bioregion. That is a network that was founded in Italy that connects eco districts, bioregions. And Idanha was the first in Portugal bioregion, so we work together with them. Every 15 days, there's a local market for organic producers, and we have a little Geopark shop where we have a little exhibition about the GeoFood. Also, our partners can participate. They don't pay anything. They can have their little stand. For example, here in the bottom, we have our recent cheese and beans partners. So beside they have our promotion, they are also in there. It's very interesting because we can, of course, contact very closely with we don't sell the products, but we contact with the producers, but also with the consumers. It's interesting also because we have a new partner that became a partner because of our presence in the market. So it's also being very positive to engaging and give the visibility also for the producers. So the next one is 15th of June. You still have time to pack your things and come to eat some GeoFood. Just before I finish, just to remind, this is a common activity we made at the 5 Geoparks in the National Tourism Fair in Lisbon. We had every day, we have a big stand for the whole Geoparks, also in partnership with aspiring Geoparks. And we had every day a GeoFood moment. So it was possible to gather all the products of the 5 Geoparks, and we presented as a whole brand, national-wide, where there are products from Naturtejo, from Aroca, from Terras Cavaleiros, from Açores, from Estrela. Even we could make, in some days, we made a cheese table with cheeses for all the Portuguese Geoparks. We made an olive oil table with all oil from all the Geoparks when these products exist, of course. And it was very interesting because people, for example, the Estrela Geopark has very famous cheese, and people had the possibility to know together with other cheese. Very interesting is that we received the visitor of our president of the Republic of Portugal here that tasted the GeoFood, and we presented GeoFood. And also we get the opportunity to, in one of these events, to present also the partnership we have with Smart Farmer. That is an e-commerce platform. It's a social business from an NGO that has a little, let's say, little shop. It's not a shop, it's a little stand for GeoFood where people can order online some GeoFood products. I'm sorry if I took too long. Thank you very much.
No, you didn't took too long. You just make us hungry.
Just, I don't know if it's the time to make a question. I have a doubt about the products. Imagine we would have, for example, seeds. They could be GeoFood, even if it's a seed of I don't know, a tomato or a sunflower, or I don't know.
I have to wait the next GeoFood board meeting with all my stuff. So okay. Then I have a more precise answer. But actually, I think it's a very good question, and I think we have to include it as a product in some way. So maybe we have to just.
Well, it's not seeds to eat. It's or to put in the yogurt. It's to sow. But and also we in the Portuguese Geoparks we have been talking. There's lots of local varieties in the several Portuguese Geoparks. It could be very interesting as a project with the umbrella of GeoFood to have some of the national traditional seeds that we know seeds can be a problem. Could have it under GeoFood. I don't know. It's let's think about that.
No, actually, it's a very good input because I know how rare are the local seed. Actually, it's a huge problem all around the world because the variety of seed are declining, and that's to keep the biodiversity going on. You need different seeds. So that's actually a very good thematic. We can open the board for discussion, and we thank you for the input. Thank you for your update.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joanna. I'm a little bit lost in space at the moment, but I think it's the time for our no grad, no rad. So, Imre?
Oh, yes. I also would like to share my screen. I just don't know whether. What can you see?
Yeah, we see the screen. Perfect.
You see the screen. Okay, so I'm representing Julia Nadia. She's absent. She's our brand manager of so many kinds. Nevertheless, we are a transnational geopark, Slovakian and Hungarian ones. And I don't know whether you can see my mouth. It's at the borderline, and of course, we are connected to Ukraine now, so it's a bit problematic because all of our geopark have some Ukrainian refugees. Okay, so let's focus on our main subject. You may see two restaurants which are Geopark partners or GeoFood partners, and we will have our revalidation this the end of this June, and evaluators will visit those restaurants according to our plan. Well, as for this year's activities, you can see that we have had 3 local partners, producers of honey or jam or whatever, some herbs as well. And what we do have some activities for the media, journalism, plenty of interviews. And of course, chefs are also important, and manager branded restaurants. So we connected them with the journalists, and the product presentations with tasting also was part of these activities. And Julia is leading some research, and 2 studies are quite under publications with universities involved, including case studies on geotourism opportunities and GeoFood brand as well. Yes, speaking of the communication, which is also important to have some outreach, and you can see that what have happened. And of course, as were in our other UGGPs, there were other brands, local brands, prior to the GeoFood, like take Novgorod products or national park produce, and so on and so on. But for us, being a transnational geopark, it's quite important to not to get limited to a region cross-border, and by the GeoFood is an international global brand now, thanks to our Etruscan. So I hope that the revalidators will taste well that Palu's dish. Actually, I have forgotten to mention that we have an ethnic population, an ethnic group called Palos, with their special culture and cuisine as well. So to be short, enjoy your GeoFood. Thank you.
Wow, what a wonderful presentation, and congratulations for the amazing job you're doing locally, you too. And there is this, when you got the picture of this newspaper and these people gathering there, I can feel the proudness that they really like to be part of it. So it is really, really extremely nice. So thank you for taking it so seriously and to work so hard for that. It's really, really cool. Thank you very much.
And I'm supporting her.
Yeah.
Okay, that's okay.
Yeah, of course you do. Thank you very much. Then it's Kashem. If anyone is from Iran here, I think so. I think I saw our friend from Iran. Maybe not. Maybe not.
Hello.
Yes, I saw you. Yeah. Hi. Hi.
Hello, Sarah.
Hi. Nice to see you.
Yes. I share my screen.
Yes, welcome.
Thank you. Sorry, I just. Okay, let's start. Hello. I'm going to briefly outline some of the steps that have been taken by Keshm Island UNESCO Global Geoparks in the past of 6 months ago. To beginning with, we have added a new GeoFood section to Keshm Island UNESCO Global Geopark website, and then introduce GeoFood partners on social medias and website on Keshm Island UNESCO Global Geopark. We have also installed the GeoFood board for members and designed a special GeoFood menu, GeoFood menu for the members and designed for them. Last week, UNESCO Global Geoparks elevators have been on a reevaluation mission, so we could arrange visit to 4 GeoFood enterprises. At first, Body Restaurant, which serves traditional seafood with fresh local ingredients. Then Rahman Restaurant, it's a new member for GeoFood that offers a variety of local bread and breakfast. And then Nakhoda Amini, organized guest house, which is also famous for its delicious homemade dishes. And the end, Chaku make Chahu, and enterprises completely by women in Eastern Chahu village, selling the dried shrimp in nice packaging. As the Geopark management body, we are organizing activities such as education fishing tours for children and students during summer vacation. And we have designed a membership form for enterprises. And then GeoFood brochure has already been translated into Persian and will be added to the website next week. Last but not least, as most date palm trees species bear fruit in the summer, we are going to conduct field studies about studies to identify different kinds of different types. So they can be presented as GeoFood products and souvenir. And the end, I'm going to end my report by showing you some photos of your GeoFood member. On the left, we can see some types of local bread and breakfast in Radman restaurants. And the right, we have a variety of seafood dishes from Body Restaurant. And the middle there is a cake decorated by with the UNESCO logo. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you so much for showing your progress. It's really, really great what you've done, and
thank you.
It's really, really good. So please share with us the leaflet when you have it, so I can also include it in the webpage.
Of course.
Thank you so much.
Course.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
So I think it's great what is going on all around the world, really. I think it's time now for our friend from Rocca di Cerere, Martina. I think she's here.
Thank you very much.
Ciao.
Okay, so for those who still don't know me, I'm Martina from Rocca di Cerere Geopark, who's settled in Italy. I'm going to give you a quick update about the status of the project here in Enna. Compared to all the other partners, we know that we are really on delay. And as we said the last time, we are combining the GeoFood project into the program of rural development. And in collaboration with the CNA, the organization of local and small stakeholders and enterprises, we created three groups: the geotourism, the geofood, and the geomarket. Of course, we are focusing much more our attention on catering and food services to give space, to give room to the geofood products and the geofood restaurants that we are about to identifying. So we are taking this time as a preliminary phase to let these people understand which are the objectives and all the principles of this GeoFood project, in order to organize events and activities to inform them and train them to achieve the holistic view of this GeoFood project. And we hope by the end of the year to finish this preliminary phase and start with registering the restaurants and also the first products. And what we are doing now, we finished writing the intervention and management plan that will be published in English on the 27th of June. That talks also about the GeoFood project, and it has been created thanks to the collaboration with some scientific experts of the University of Catania, and of course the director of the Rocca di Cerere Geopark and the scientific director. And once it's published, Sarah will send you the pictures, and as it's also written in English, it will be available to all of you if you are interested to read it, especially the part that regards the GeoFood project. That's it from my side. And what I wanted also to tell you, Sarah, that this might be my last GeoFood meeting, because I'm about to graduating from university, and I applied for a master's degree abroad. So that will be another person taking my place here at Rocca di Cerere Geopark. So I will let you know and make you in contact with this new person. Otherwise, it has been a big pleasure to me to work with you until now, and I wish you the best success possible for this project. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Martina. I'm very happy for you on one side. I'm very not happy for us on the other side, but it was great to work with you, and thank you for this update. We of course, all of us wish you good luck. And the thing is that I like to say very shortly is that Martina is from Sicily, and the program that she's speaking about, it's a European framework program, which is linked to the development of rural areas. And what they're doing, it is in fact a really, really great and difficult challenges, because they try to, please Martina, tell me if I'm wrong, they are doing it actually, so they haven't tried. They are actually implementing the GeoFood into the rural strategy, which is directly supported by you, which means that it becomes a structural program.
Yes, that's correct.
And that's a very good achievement and an extremely smart move. And congratulations for that, and thank you for the update, and keep in touch anyway wherever you're going.
Yes, sure. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So yes, now we let the floor to Rukwa. I don't think is anyone from Rukwa. I'm afraid they haven't managed to come. So let's let's talk with Cesio Valgrande and Francis, my friend Francis from
Hi,
Cesio
Sarah.
Valgrande.
How are you?
Warm.
Me too. Yes. I'm here with Valeria. She's helping me this year with the GeoFood project, implementing the project in our geopark, which has been excellent. And I'm really excited to tell you about some of the developments we had since last year. Let me set a stopwatch, because otherwise I will never keep on the 3 minutes that I'm allotted. Very quickly, if you remember from last time we talked, we in our geopark, the main areas of interest we were working on at the moment was finding local partners for GeoFood and using GeoFood for raising awareness in the general public within the geopark and for its educational value. I'm very pleased to tell you that we've registered our first products, and as you know, well, those of you who know me know that I'm a wine producer, and after a lot of work we've managed to register my wine as a GeoFood, which is very exciting. We've started with 2 products and we're working on implementing the GeoFood logo also on other ones. And we also partnered with a restaurant called Gufo di Pietra. It's the Stone Owl, which is a very appropriate name for a GeoFood partner. And with a cooperation between the geopark, the restaurant, and the winery, we've organized a GeoFood dinner to present the project to the public. And something very interesting came up. We've combined local wines with either traditional or new recipes. The one you see on the screen now, it's a creation by the chef. These are fried rice bowls with cheese and mushroom, saffron, nuts. They're different recipes. And since it's a creation of the chef, they named it Sassolini del Sesia, which is like little stones from the Sesia, which I thought it was a very appropriate name for a geo menu, for a GeoFood. Similarly, we have these ravioli, which are stuffed with beef and red wine. We had broiled cheese, and we had these traditional biscuits, which traditionally are consumed by dipping them in dried red wine, which is something unusual, at least in our modern society. And each dish was paired specifically with one wine that is either a GeoFood or will soon be a GeoFood. And the event was very successful. We've continued with our cooperation. I've mentioned last year the cooperation with the Master in Socio-Environmental Sustainability of Agri-Food Networks. Say that 3 times fast. And we had a field trip also this year. It was a great success, and it was incidentally we had a extreme weather event the day we had the field trip, and we had the possibility to witness with the students some damage happened on land that wasn't managed sustainably. And yeah, it was unfortunate, but at least we could see in practice what we've talked about a lot during the master and during the field trip. We have some further steps to take, of course. We're implementing the GeoFood brochure, the leaflet in our geopark. We need to expand the partner base. And of course, we have to mention that GeoFood hopefully will have its space, well, surely will have its space at the European Geopark Conference that we will host in September. With that said, I thank you all for your attention, and I apologize for going over time.
Oh, Francis, you've been great as usual. So thank you for showing the progress. It was really a good surprise when I saw the wine arriving. And I'm looking forward to taste it in the at the conference. And thank you very much for your effort. That I know it is really, 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 really big. thank you very much. Also for
sorry,
me.
can I interrupt?
Sure.
Because our colleagues from Oeste, they will have to leave very soon. So I don't know if we could go very quick to there.
Yeah, we can go to Oeste aspiring
There's no
Geopark.
problem. Okay, we change a little bit the context, but
no, it's okay. They are aspiring UNESCO Global Geopark, that they like to show us what they are doing locally and waiting to become Geopark and Geofood. So the floor is yours, please.
Hello. Hello, thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Joanna. I will try to respect the 3 minutes and the 3 slides. Let me see. You all can see it? Yes. Okay. So we have our own program. It calls Prego Dourado. We are in Portugal, in the west side. Our objective is connected between geological and cultural heritage and the local gastronomic traditions, contributing to the sustainable development of local economy agents. We started in the beginning of this year, and we want to get so many products that we have. And for example, like 2 other geoparks here, we have a specific pier too. It calls Pera Rocha. It's unique in Portugal, and we are one of the biggest producers of potato. So we are happy to hear, because maybe we can start some connection with our product. So our program recognizes 3 kind of products with the 3 connections: heritage, territorial, and organic. And we give these kind of labels to our partners. And for now, we have in GeoProducts 10 partners and 34 products. And in gastronomy, we have 4 partners and 9 plates with very good food, and that's it. So we are doing our best to be a geopark, a global geopark, and at the end trying to connect this program to GeoFood program. That's it. Thank you. I will share some links to see our more information about us. Okay.
Let me add some, a comment is that I don't know if you understood, some of us are not geologists, but the golden spike is that the spike you put in the stratigraphy unities, because in the Oeste Geopark, there's a very relevant formation. So they have that it's an international recognized spike. That's the name, the name of the program came from that geological context.
Joanna, it's about the Jurassic, the Tourcian. It's a Jurassic step.
That's very, very interesting. And thank you too much to be here, and thank you for showing your territory to us. And looking forward to have you inside. So good luck with all your development. Thank you again.
Thank you.
So yes, I think we will ask for Stonehammer in Canada, but I'm not sure they are here. I don't think either our friend from Terra de Cavaleiros. So I think it's the time for Carol to show us, if she like, or tell us what they have been doing.
I'm going to step in here for Carol there, Sarah. So hi, everyone. It's lovely to learn about all your work, and it's fascinating. So we're coming to you from the Burn and Cliffs of Moher UNESCO Global Geopark over in County Clare in the west coast of Ireland. So in the Burn, there's a really rich history of food traditions that date back for thousands of years. And there's really an abundance. Oh, actually, I'm going to share my screen with you first. It'll be handy.
Sean's my colleague.
You see that?
Yes, we see it. And we can also hear that you're really, really keen on talking to us. It's very nice.
Yes, so we have we have an abundance of food producers in the Burn as well. So it's sort of kind of natural fit for us to join the GeoFood program. We were delighted to do it there last year. On May 21st there last month, we launched GeoFood at the Burn Slow Food Festival. And it was received extremely well. It was being promoted in real time by high regarded Irish journalists and other kind of various organizations in the region. And so throughout the event, Sarah kindly devoted her time to give a background on GeoFood, a background presentation. We had tasting sessions, we had interviews with producers, we had insightful talks from food industry professionals, and then we had also stalls from GeoFood producers where people could come up, buy GeoFood produce, and also learn about their produce. So this launch is just a taster of the events that we come up. Well, excuse the terrible pun. But this launch is just a taste of what we have coming up with GeoFood. We also have there's 7 food programs that run throughout the Burn on an annual basis, and we also have it integrated within Heritage Week. And we're very excited about the Heritage Week because we're doing a GeoFood pop-up stall for one of the popular hiking trails in the Geopark. So it's going to be like a GeoFood oasis for some tired hikers that are going around. So it's going to be set up halfway through a GeoFood pop-up stall is going to be set up halfway through the hike. So people are going to get like a special surprise when they turn a nice bend. So that is one of the programs we have coming up. And so that's kind of physical presence that we have. And we also have we're developing our online presence. So we've kind of 3 areas that we're thinking of so far, and this is growing day by day. So we're going to continue doing the online profiles on our own website and geofood.no. So we have 8 producers so far. We have the oysters, we have smoked oysters, we have cheese, we have goat cheese, we have chutney, we have, I probably forgot, pork, and we also have beef. So we have, they're the online profiles. We're going to continue to develop them. Another area we're looking at is we're going to develop an extensive range of local food producers and suppliers for people who want to get involved in GeoFood, so they can look at GeoFood alternatives for Geopark alternatives for food for raw materials they usually source outside the Geopark. So to be able to see this directory of resources and go to them instead of external resources. And another area we're looking at is integrating GeoFood into our popular digital and physical Geopark tearaway maps, or Geopark maps. So these are popular. We kind of they're widely used in the region itself. Yeah, so that's our kind of activities that we've planned.
Thank you. Can I just say one more thing as well? Yesterday, Sarah, a local university emailed me. The head of the tourism department in this university wants to work with us on doing research into the impact of GeoFood. And so she had an idea sketched out for us. So I think it could be a very interesting partnership, and will also help us produce some good research papers as well.
I wish would happen the same to me, Magma, but it doesn't. Seems that the researchers don't have my phone number. Anyway, it is very, 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 very nice. So congratulations, and let us know. And thank you again for inviting me, even if I didn't manage to come physically. It was really, really nice to be there with you and present the event together with all your partners and your local community. It was really, really great. Thank you so much.
Good.
Thank you.
It was great to have you there, Sarah, and so many people were interested and have asked for the link to hear your talk again. So
that's nice.
Yeah, you generated a lot of interest.
That's cool. I don't know if there is anyone here from this archipelago in Croatia. If not, I think I don't know if Alexandra from Aruqua would like to say something. If she's here, Alessandra, is she here?
Yes, I'm here.
Oh, hi. Hi.
Hi. Okay, so I'm going to share my presentation. Okay, are you think.
Yes.
Yes. Just some seconds. Just, I'm not seeing. Okay, I'm going to do by this way because I cannot see.
We can see. We are in the third page, yes.
Okay. Okay, now it's okay.
Yeah.
I think. Okay. So I'm Alexandra from the Arouca UNESCO Global Geopark located in Portugal. In the last year, our focus has been working especially with the producers of vegetables, fruits, and cereals. Producers, farmers in Arouca, and also our geosites that are located in the Paiva Valley and also in the Freita Mountain, especially. The farmers and the productions are located essentially in the valleys of Arouca and the Valley of Paiva also, and we have small-scale farmers. So in order to have sufficient and high-quality production to ensure the needs of our restaurants and hotels, we have been advising producers, namely with the traditional Arouca species, and we invested also in the training of courses directed to our farmers, and we are also supporting the conversion to the organic production nowadays. Also, we have the Arouca Agrícola. It's a store, a small store in the center of Arouca, where we sell the raw materials and also processed materials. We sell fruits, we sell beans from our territory, and also we have this work with the farmers. We have the social networks of this project, Arouca Agrícola, and where we make our producers known and also their products. In this way, we are creating trust between the producers, the companies such as restaurants or hotels, for example, and also the final consumers, because we have a small shop called also Arouca Agrícola.
Just one thing, Alexandra, the slide didn't go on. Ecco, here it is, Arouca Agrícola, we can see it.
Okay, sorry.
Is this the slide?
Yes, we have a small shop in the center.
Yeah.
Okay.
We don't see it.
And we are working also with the farmers directly, and also this small channel to the restaurants and the hotels. Okay.
Very nice.
So in parallel, we offer in our management structure services, and we developed activities. For example, we encourage our stakeholders, our local stakeholders, to consume local products in their activities, namely in the snacks during their activities, for example. We have also special visits to local producers that we are. Our first one occurred in the last month, for example, that we called it Arouca Agrícola Itineraries, where we visited a small farmer of fruits. And also we have our celebrations of special days like the World Environment Day in the last week, and where we have also GeoFood snacks during the activity. Another example is our GeoFood tasting dinner that occurred in the last month with our other Portuguese Geoparks, and it counted also with the presence of the team of the tourism of Portugal. Is another example of our collaboration among Geoparks and the tourism of Portugal, like Joanna said in the Naturtejo presentation. And it's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Alexandra, to show us the activities that are going on. It's very nice to have you here and get updated. I think that we go to Japan because Theodore he cannot be awake all night, and you should have said you're very polite, but you should have told me because yes, please, it's a great pleasure to have you here. So please, the floor is yours.
No, okay, thank you. Let me sorry, I'm very tired. Let me just try to figure out my PowerPoint here. Okay. Is that right? Yeah, okay, there we go. Okay, can you see?
Yes.
Okay, so hello everyone. So I'm Theodore from Itoigawa UNESCO Global Geopark in Itoigawa, Japan. And so I'd like to talk just a little bit about our efforts to kind of bring geofood into a new market in Japan. And I think Sarah knows more than anyone else here how much of a struggle this has been for us, and still continues to be a struggle in many ways. But so first I'd like to talk a little about who we are. So Itoigawa is Japan's first UNESCO Global Geopark. We became a global geopark in 2009. So we're an area of about 746 square kilometers with a population of about 40,000 people. Fairly rural. We're one municipality, but it's best not to think of us as one municipality. We're more like an amalgamation of small villages and towns just dotted around the mountains and valleys throughout our area. Over 90% of the area of our geopark and of our city is mountains and forest. So the economy is mostly based in limestone mining and processing. But we also have a large fishing industry and some small scale agriculture and very small scale tourism that's growing now thanks to the geopark. Here you can see sort of an aerial view of this yellow line here demarcates Itoigawa Geopark and Itoigawa City. And you can see it's almost all mountains. But what makes our geopark special is this Itoigawa Shizuoka tectonic line, which runs through the center of our geopark. And so through this, we can see the Japanese islands are bent in the middle. And we can see that this bend in the middle bends along this Itoigawa Shizuoka tectonic line. And that's because this is the border between the North American and the Eurasian continental plates. And so it was the interaction between these two plates that caused the Japanese islands. You can see along the coast of Korea and China, you can see that there's sort of a bend in the opposite direction. And it's because when the Japanese islands split from the Asian continent, they split in kind of a funny way. And so when they did, they split and they created this opposite arc here along this tectonic line. I could go for hours about the origin of this, but I don't have time for that. So instead, I'll just talk about some of the the reasons we want to bring GeoFood into Itoigawa. So we have a great deal of, especially seafood. We're one of the largest seafood producers within our region. We have a lot of crab, monkfish, shrimp, fish like rosy sea bass, which is one of the most valued fish in Japan. And we produce a great deal of it. And we have some local fish as well that you only really see in our area. And this seafood, the reason why Itoigawa has this rich variety of different kind of seafood that's so fresh is connected to the land in Itoigawa. So here we can see this map of the coast along Itoigawa. We can see most of the coast along the Sea of Japan is fairly shallow, but when we look here where this Itoigawa-Shizuoka tectonic line runs, we see the sea gets very, very deep, very, very quickly. And it's this very deep, it's called the Toyama Trough, but this Toyama Trough here that runs right off the coast of Itoigawa is the source of this very rich seafood. And it's very closely connected as well we have a lot of volcanic small islands and rocks and reefs off the coast that formed as the Japanese islands were lifting up out of the sea. And so when these islands also create very good biospheres for fish. And so we have very good fishing grounds very close to the markets. And so we have very, very fresh fish. And so we have a very good geological story here explaining why these fish are so good, why the seafood is so good. And on top of that, we have a very wide variety of agriculture, not very large scale agriculture. As you saw, it's all very mountainous regions. So it's very small scale agriculture, but very rich rice, which is grown on the remains of ancient landslides and volcanic eruptions. A very wide variety of different vegetables and wild edible plants, mushrooms that are all collected by the local people. And so we see this, and it's all being used in a very distinct local food culture. So we have a lot of dishes in Itoigawa that are rather unique to Itoigawa. Things like a monkfish stew. So monkfish is a kind of, it's related to anglerfish. It's a very ugly fish. It's probably one of the ugliest fish you could ever see, but it is so delicious, especially in a stew like this, and bamboo sushi, things like this. So these rich cultural food tradition that we would like to promote further. So we're trying to come up with different ways and different candidates for this GeoFood label within Itoigawa. And so I just want to talk about one of the candidates we have, which is we have 5 sake breweries, so the Japanese rice wine sake. We have 5 sake breweries in Itoigawa. One of them, the Watanabe Brewery, actually, here we see a picture of their brewery. The Itoigawa-Shizuoka tectonic line runs directly underneath their brewery. And the groundwater on either side of their brewery is different. So one side has soft water, the other side has hard water, affected by this tectonic line running through the brewery grounds. And so they only use one of the waters for making their sake because it's the better water. But so that's one sort of land connection we have with this brewery. But even more importantly than that, though, is the fact that when you look at any sake brewery's webpage, the top picture that's going to be on their webpage is going to be a picture of their brewery or a picture of their sake. But if you look at the top picture on the Watanabe Brewery's webpage, it's this picture. It's a picture of the valley that they are located in. Because almost every sake brewery in Japan, even the local ones, they don't really care about where the rice comes from. The rice, they just collect from wherever they can get the rice from. And they care about the water. The water is the local water, but the rice can come from wherever. But this brewery, they've brought in the European the wine style, the domain style of in Europe you have the vineyards where we grow the grapes, we make the wine. And so they've brought the same idea into sake brewing, where they grow the rice and they brew the sake. And so you look at their pictures on their webpage, and it's all pictures of their rice fields and pictures of them using their rice to make sake. All sake that is closely connected with this Nechi Valley that their sake brewery is located in. So we think this is a great, sort of one of our first candidates for GeoFood. And so this is where we're trying to move forward with GeoFood. But one of the some of the biggest problems we have with bringing GeoFood into Itoigawa Geopark and into Japan is one. So I have a few listed here, but for example, the producers within Itoigawa Geopark are almost all old. They're almost all aged 60 and up, and many of them have no heirs. Many of the young people in Itoigawa, as soon as they graduate high school, they go to university in the big city, and they stay in the big city. And it's kind of difficult for us to bring them back into this very small rural area. So we have many potential products, but we're worried that many of them might not exist in the next 20 years unless something drastic changes, which is one of the reasons why we want to bring GeoFood in, is we're hoping it's something that can help revitalize these industries. But on top of that, we're not sure how we can best use GeoFood in Japan, because as a brand, it's completely unknown in Japan at this point. And so the websites are mostly in English. So the average Japanese person doesn't know anything about GeoFood. So we can promote GeoFood as our own, but it's difficult for us to showcase it as this global initiative when in Japan we're the only ones doing it. And that brings me to our next concern, which is the fact that we haven't seen much reaction from other Japanese geoparks on the initiative. So we need more support from other geoparks in Japan. We're happy to see geoparks in Korea joining the initiative, and we'd be really happy to cooperate with the Korean geoparks, especially. I think before COVID happened, one of our largest foreign tourist groups were Korean tourists coming to Itoigawa Geopark. So we would be very happy to cooperate with Korean geoparks. But then on top of that, so we also have the problem that Itoigawa City already has a branding scheme for local products, which is frankly much easier to receive than the GeoFood. The GeoFood project has a high hurdle because it's a high quality brand. But I think many of the producers, especially the older ones, aren't interested in the high quality brand. They're interested in the easier to obtain brands. And so we have an easier to obtain label within Itoigawa City. So we have to try to find a way to better distinguish the GeoFood and sort of show to the local people how it's a better brand than the ones that are already available. So I mean, that's just, I mean, some of my ideas, I guess. I mean, I don't know if you'd be able to help me at all, but thank you.
Thank you so much for the presentation. But the thing is that you underline problems that each of us had. I mean, first. So, and I understand that you feel lonely and the situation is difficult. We all translate I mean, we have a local page in each geopark which is speaking the language of the locals. And of course, the promotion has to start from the local geopark. We promote the local producer in Norwegian, and then we say that they are part of the biggest initiatives, which is just because it's worldwide, has to be in English. But of course, we have to the producer advertise in Norwegian or Italian or Greek or whatever language, because we have all the same problem. The local people don't really speak English so well, and the local producer need to talk their own languages. That's how it is. And I understand you don't have the power to promote it alone, but I understood from your mail that Itogawa City accepted GeoFood in some way, or I misunderstood?
So the Itoigawa Geopark Council, which is the management body, accepted GeoFood, but it's, I don't know if I sent a message earlier, but it's, they accepted, they said, okay, we can go ahead with creating the framework for accepting GeoFood, but they have not given us a budget yet for it. So it's a bit difficult for us to move forward. We've been given the go ahead, the green sign, but then we still are working with basically petty funds, basically, to design everything, which we might still be able to manage in some way, but it's difficult because I think a lot of the council members don't really, I think, understand the GeoFood program that well. They don't understand the value of it so much.
Then, I think we should link it very much with UNESCO. I mean, with the UNESCO Global Geopark, not with UNESCO.
Yes,
so it's probably helped to say that it's a tool that only UNESCO Global Geopark can use. But again, the IGCP project is maybe a very good idea that you join it if you have time, because we are developing tools to implement the brand, which I think is something that is missing. So maybe you can get some tips during this project that can help you.
I think so. I'd be really interested in learning more about it. I think, what was I going to say? It's completely lost.
I'm sorry.
You lost my train of thought, but I think one, I don't even remember anymore. I'm sorry, I'm getting too...
It's okay, but how to sell the GeoFood to the producer?
Yes.
I don't know Japanese society, but what I know is that it's very linked with the traditions.
Yes.
And really, really taking care of traditions.
And that's why things move very slowly here.
Yeah, but that's okay. But this is a brand, it's the only way that they can tell their heritage in a structural way, and also locally, not only internationally. I mean, you should start locally to tell them how to tell their story. Of course, if you have a budget, I understand the work without budget is impossible, but and then say that is an international recognized, but start locally, because that's the only way, I think.
Yes, I just remember what I was going to say. It was one of the biggest, I think, concerns our management body, our council has, is the fact that up until this point, our geopark has never created partnerships with individual private entities. So we have partnerships with industry groups. So for example, we don't partner with individual hotels, but we have a partnership agreement with the Itoigawa Hoteliers Association. And so we have sort of broad stroke partnerships. And this is focusing more on individual pinpoint, where we're saying this restaurant we want to partner further with because their food meshes more with our geo story than others. And so, I think they're worried about their creating some rifts or some jealousy within, and this is a very Japanese issue. Japanese are obsessed with social harmony. Everybody has to be doing it all together as a group. And so it becomes very difficult to kind of single out anybody. Yeah. And so this is, I think, and so this is something that's going to take a little bit of time for us to work with. But I know the people within the Secretariat office are very eager to start this program, and so we're hoping to at least maybe not do something very wide yet, but maybe select just a few sort of just as a pilot program first, and I'll contact you because I'm taking too much time as it is now. So I'll contact you later with some ideas I've been having.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
But if you need any help to take a presentation in front of your Japanese network, we are happy to do that, to show also what the other geoparks are doing. Thank you so much, Theodore. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Then I think is Azores, if they like to update us with what is going on. Also, Carla is arrived. Hi.
Hi. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Welcome.
So I'll share my wait. Can you see my my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's not in presentation mode. Sorry to interrupt.
How about now?
No.
No. Okay, let's try again.
But we can see if you don't manage.
Okay, how about now?
Perfect, thank you.
It's in presentation mode? Yeah, okay. I'll try to be quick, but if I speak too quickly, please let me know, okay? So from the Azores Geopark, let me see, I'll just make a really small introduction. The Azores Geopark is a volcanic archipelago. So we have 9 islands, the whole territory is the Geopark. So 9 islands, 1 geopark is our motto. In regards to the Geofood brand, what have we done so far? So we have joined the Geofood brand in 2020. So it seems 2 years is a long time, but actually things take slowly in getting results. We feel. But since 2020, we have done several meetings, several presentations. To the partners that were already partners with the Geopark with the Geo products. So we gave a priority to the Geo partners and introduced them what it was Geofood and how to bring an extra to their brand with our Geofood brand. And actually, so we had a lot of Geo products already. We had the wines, we had restaurants, cheese, biscuits. And so we tried to focus on that. We also promoted the brand in our radio talks. We have collaboration with the regional newspaper, and we did a section about Geo products, and we did special sections about the Geofood also, and sometimes when we are interviewed about these subjects about traditional food and gastronomy, we always present also the Geofood brand. And of course, every time someone important comes to the Azores and visit the Azores Geopark, here on the left, you don't probably recognize, but we have our president and also our regional government president. And so these were important people that were doing this press conference, and as you can see, we were able to put our Geo products while they were tasting the Geo products, and they were talking to the press, and so it's a nice publicity that we did. And so what have we in plan, and what have we thinking for the future? More meetings with the partners. We know that it's not just presenting them the idea, but we really have to do a lot of work there, sitting with them, explaining them what we need, because a lot of people shows interest, but it's difficult then to have a feedback with all the bureaucracy, all the documents that we need to have to make like the complete file to then be able to promote them in the international website, for example. So we have a lot of work in this field. And also we have been invited to talk about the Geofood brand in some meetings, like in the wine seminars. And so it's not us trying to push the brand, it's already the organizers of these events that invite us to go there and talk about Geofood brand in the Azores Geopark. Sorry. So we think this is really nice. We did a presentation in April by Salome, and she was already invited to do another one next month. So in these workshops for restoration managers. And we still think, as we did, like in 2020 when we did this type of presentations with you, we still think that our biggest potential is with the volcanic wines, because it's a brand completely different, or a product completely different from other Portuguese geoparks, and also with the tea and coffee that is produced here in the Azores. So we still are, of course, cheeses and biscuits and everything is, we work with them, but we are really trying to push with the wines. And so, just to present one of our, the main company that joined Geofood brand, which is the tea house Chalet de Tia Mercedes, which is located, located in an incredible geosite, the Furnas, hydrothermal, place, let's say. Sorry, rests of COVID. And so this incredible tea house, it's located in these hydrothermal fields, and they promote the Geofood brand, which is cooked with the heat of the vents, and it's a success. You have to reserve these branches, otherwise you don't have a place. And they also promote the Geofood brands and their products in local fairs, and make little experiments for people to, when they are in the fairs, like try because they make the tea with boiling the water in the vents, and so they explain how this works and everything, all the science behind it. So these are incredible partners that really promote the site, the geo-heritage, and the tradition, the typical teas, the typical tradition. They explain why the teas were used for specific health reasons, and the tea is produced in the Azores, and so they make all the connections. It's a perfect partner, let's say. They also promote some events with all other partners. For instance, in this photograph, it's in the sunset, so it's dark, but they were promoting a partnership with the Pico wines. In this case, was Corral Atlantis, but we have, which is not yet officially a Geopark partner, but we are trying hard for him because he has incredible wines. But we have other Pico wine. Sorry, oh, you don't see the photograph, but it was an example. Well, you see the glass. They were drinking wine, playing music, having a nice time. But we have incredible other wines in Pico, and one of them that we are almost closing the contract, let's say, with the Geofood as a Geofood partner, is a wine that ages inside the cave, inside the volcanic cave, the Gruta das Torres. And so the wine is left there for 1 year, and then they sell it. And it's, of course, Gruta das Torres is also an important geosite from the Azores Geopark. And so these wines, and oh, you don't see it, but we have here also an example of another product producer that has already signed with us. He has an incredible wine that it's called Lava AA ground, if we can ledge on the lava. And so we are really focusing on these partners here in Pico, because of course, besides being an Azores Geopark, very interesting geosites, Pico Island also has World Heritage for vineyard culture, and so we work together with the World Heritage and the Geopark and bring them to the GeoFood brand. And so this is, well, as a really brief, but this is what we have been working on, and hope that in the next few months have more formal signatures with more formal partners, and can improve our numbers.
Thank you very much. I know that you are doing a very good job and you have a very good product. We just need to systematize it in some information and register it so everyone can see it. So thank you very much for this presentation. It was very nice to have you here. There is now the new manager in Cliff of Fundy. I'm not sure if he's still here. No, he's not. So is actually any question? It would be very nice to hear some question, or any other aspiring geopard that wish to say something or ask something. Like, I'm not sure if anyone else like to share some doubt with us. So I will not. I should present 3 slides about Magma Geopard, because in the end I never show you what we are doing. But I'm not sure if it's too late and you want to go. I'm not bother you further.
I think we can be more 3 minutes to also know the news for Magma, right?
3 minutes for Magma. Okay, let's show you.
You also for sure have good news to share.
Well, yes.
Inspire us.
Let's say so. It's a very easy, very simple PowerPoint that I just want to show you. Yes. Yeah, this is us. I try to make it here. Yes, that's me presenting GeoFood in some academy somewhere in south of Italy with some sustainable development goal. Yes, actually, we have increased very much the cooperation locally in the Geopark because through several projects we got awarded thanks to GeoFood. We managed to strengthen the local producer and have some events where we gather together and we tell about local food, and we make local food as kind of a center of our tourist offer. We are developing this brand identity where the active partner company that are following the criteria have the plate. At the moment, there are several producers that decide to adopt the GeoFood on their van and developing nice stories. So that's something that we are rather proud of. Here we've developed a couple of special houses like that just outside the farm, where farmers can sell directly. I don't know if you are aware of, but in the Nordic country, the trust in the society is so high that you can just go in and buy and let the money, and it doesn't need to be anyone there controlling the cash or giving the change, or everything works automatically. This is rather common in Norway and in Denmark, at least as far as I know. So we developed these little houses in connection with the farm. Then yes, I have to say the biggest achievement is the opening of a shop, the GeoFood shop, which is just, it was actually in the center of the town, in a small little wooden house that include 12 producers, only GeoFood producers. We have some stories around, and yes, there was such a success that I will come back later with you. Here we have developed some information concerning the special wild sheep and the special cattle that are unique species living in the area. And we give them to the farmer, and because we are building up a food trail, which try to promote local food and make visitor visiting the farm. Here you can see the panel in place, a little bit out of focus, and we have developed an app where you can find the geofood producers and the information. The app is available for free, so the tourists can download it and find information about single producer, when they are opening, and whatever they need. Here is the last achievement. Actually, the shop closed because the private investors came in and they decide to buy the idea, and they open a shop which is open now 7 days a week and is also connected with the restaurant. So Agra Street is now serving a geofood menu in the center of the town of the main town of the Geopark, which was something that didn't exist before the Geopark and before GeoFood. So we are rather proud of it. It seems a small achievement, but actually is making 12 farmers working together, which is not really so obvious in such a rural area with such extended area where the farmers are really dispersed and far away from each other. This you already seen it. I think that was it. Don't have anything else to show you. And thank you very much for your attention. Just a brief overview of what we are doing. We are also working on GeoFood. That's interesting to know. We are also struggling a lot with GeoFood. So like everyone is doing more or less, because farmers in that rural area of Norway are not used to work together. And we've been trying for, if it can make you okay, Theodore, we try for 10 years. After 10 years, they open a shop, and so actually it didn't really happen very fast. So it's a different culture, it's different area within the country, and there are different things to take in consideration. But yes, in the end, we can say that so far we can say that so far we succeed. I don't know. There are a lot of friends that I don't really know. So is Cerrido Geopark is also here, right? Is anyone from Cerrido? No, just Camila Jara Quillapan. Where is she from?
Yes, Cutralcura.
You are from Cutralcura. Oh, welcome. So do you want to present anything?
Yes.
Okay, please, it's your turn. Because I mentioned Cutralcura before, but we were not. So yes, the floor is yours. Just to reply to Theodore very quickly, the farmers in Norway are so powerful that they have their own party. They are the one deciding not to get into EU. So we are facing the same. They are still not working very well together in our area, but at national level, politically, they are extremely powerful. Yes, the floor is yours. Thank you very much. The microphone is off.
Now?
Now it's on.
Can you see?
Perfect.
Okay.
We see.
Good morning, everyone. Well, who don't know me, my name is Camila Jara, member of technical community Cutralcura Geopark, and work in the municipality of Rincon. Within the guidelines of sustainable economy and as a territory of the Cutralcura Geopark, we are developing a line of action of GeoFood. One of the most relevant advantages of the GeoFood agenda was the addition and start of work from the municipality with local undertaking, where a protocol presented to join the GeoFood brands. This instance made it possible to strengthen public-private work and gain access to a local and regional promotion of the gastronomy offer, valuing the identity of the territory truth of GeoMenus, present with raw meat and wild vegetable recipes. And the next stage is to apply the methodology in each of the initiatives and design gastronomic experience throughout the entire territory. For example, rural and urban restaurant networks and Pabellon Araucanía, networking of shops and gastronomical routes, and recipes book and geomenus. Finally, a digital platform Geoparks. In 2021, one strategic action we're developing the Geoparks to solve the challenges we faced with 2022 are the awareness of 0 kilometer food products and the responsible use of resources through workshops. I well as spread the heritage of the Geopark through this brand in working methodology, such as training, digitalization of the offer, application, and use the brand. Well, thanks for your attention.
Yes, so there are several very good. So you are starting to talk with your company locally. So and I had a meeting with Patricia some days ago, and she told me about the job you're doing with the GeoHeritage. So congratulations, I think you are on very good track. Thank you for being here. And sorry, I didn't see you because you are not visible and I didn't remember your name. So I'm very sorry for that. So thank you very much for contributing. I don't know if there anyone else that hasn't talked that should talk. It's much easier if I ask you that. Is everyone gave the presentation you want? Is anyone of the one that just arrived, like Rafael I can see is here, or anyone else like Ingeborg that want to say something about the Geopark, the GeoFood, or and anything? Or if not, we can just maybe switch on the camera and
hi everybody.
Ciao Rafael.
Ciao. No, Sarah, I don't want to present today. Just want to say congratulations to everybody. I didn't watch the whole presentations. I was in another meeting this morning.
Introduce yourself, please.
Hi, my name is Rafael Dem. We're working with the Canastra Geopark project in Southeast Brazil in the state of Minas Gerais. We're developing the actions now to become one of the next geoparks in Brazil. We had 2 new geoparks in Brazil this year, the Seridó Geopark and the Canyons do Sul. I don't think they were involved today.
No, they were, but they didn't come.
Yeah.
But it's okay. They will be updated, so they are very active, so it's no problem.
Yeah. But yeah, the last I'm gonna turn on my camera because
yeah, that's nice.
Hi. But the last action we're doing at the Canastra Geopark project was a hot air balloon festival, because now it's starting winter here in Brazil, and the region is very nice for geotourism activities and sightseeing around the canyons and the mountains. So this year the festival is becoming really big, and a lot of products have been showing at the. They have a kind of a small fair during the festival too, where the local producers are showing the products. So this year we were able to actually go on field and introduce them to the GeoFood brand, and what are we expecting to develop with them. And the cat is invading
on the table.
The table. Okay.
Yeah, so it's very nice that your project is proceeding and you're already thinking how to implement GeoFood in it. So it's nice to start on time. Then you can use the same criteria for involving local producers since the beginning. And that's also why you are inside the IGCP project, because it's could be very useful for you and for your territory. So thank you for joining us, and thank you for your interest. And we keep in touch anyway, but anyway, it's very nice to have you here.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, any other, anything else to say? Any questions? Or else I ask you to switch on the camera. We take a super huge picture. The one that are still awake. Yeah, Ingeborg is here. That's nice. We have a Norwegian colleague with us. Yes, Fahim is here. Martina, I'm not sure she's still here. Caetano. I'm asking help to Joanna, but she also don't know. So then I'm lost. Okay. Excuse me, Caetano, where are you from? Okay. Yes, let's take a picture. Imre, I suppose, is left. So there will be some black spot. Ingeborg, smile. That's nice. Good. Here we are. So I have, wait, he arrived now. Of course, the cat also, everybody's here. That's nice. Yeah, that's good. Okay, so I have to thank you, all of you, and I let you, it's anything I forgot, Joanna, Christian? Probably, no, that's cool. Okay, so I let you free, and thank you so much for your time. And thank you all for your participation, it was great, really great.
Thank you.
Ciao.